Off we go into the landscape of sports. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It's time. The Rob Brown Show underway. Tuesday edition gets going right now. Howdy, y'all. Welcome in. Happy to be with you. Happy Tuesday. At least as happy as you can possibly stand it to be today. I am Rob Brown. The pleasure is mine. Sharing in that pleasure as we do every morning. Yeah, I know it sounds weird. I don't care. It checks out. Directly across from me, he's the alpha and the omega of the fan upstate, the sultan of swag, the professor of perfection, the wizard of wave, the great one himself. Lonzo is here as well. And based on the fact that he has not brought in like confetti cannons and a trumpet and other assorted party favors, still powerless, great one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rough night.
Sweaty last night.
Yeah.
Real sweaty last night.
No, it takes care of that, though. Nice, cold shower.
Nice, cold shower.
Yep.
You're going to be a new man. You're going to have six-pack by the end of this week. Because what I've been told is if you want to be like, vivacious and in shape and all that, you gotta take ice cold showers. It's I've been told that it's the best way to jolt yourself awake early in the morning.
You know what it's like? You know when you get ready to jump in the pool, and you know the pool is going to be really cold, but you figure you get used to it after a while. It's like that, but you don't get used to it. So I'm, in the back of the shower trying to, as far away as someone of my size can be from the water going, okay, I got this. Oh, why did I do that?
So last New Year's Eve, not this year's, but last year's New Year's Eve, we went over to Charleston and we spent New Year's Eve and day with the wife's sister and brother-in-law. And they are, like they're what the kids call crunchy. Have you heard this term before?
I have not heard of crunchy before now.
All right. Crunchy is the modern day term for people who live that granola lifestyle.
Ah,
you know what I mean, right?
Okay.
Right.
All right. I was just watching.
I don't allow my
I was
child.
just watching a Brian Danielson thing. So,
yeah. Crunchy. Yeah.
Okay.
Crunchy.
All right.
We don't allow our children to eat off of plastic plates. You never know what's in there. It's like, it's plastic plate. Relax. Crunchy. So they're crunchy. And I say this with all the love in the world because the brother-in-law, I've told the wife many times, I just married you to have an excuse to hang out with Nick more often. Great guy. So they're crunchy. They're very healthy, health conscious, right? Like everything that they do say, eat, think, it all revolves around family health, which is fine. Now, this is not me judging. We should all be more like that. I just don't want to be. It's exhausting.
Takes a lot of effort.
A lot of effort. I feel like every health gain I gain by being crunchy, I give back because I'm just stressed all the time. So we went over there and they wanted to do for our New Year's Day morning activity. Now, if there's one thing you need to know about Rob Brown, it's that Rob Brown adores New Year's Eve. Rob Brown on New Year's Eve. I know some of you go, oh, that's amateur drinking night. No. The professionals are out. All right. I love New Year's Eve. It's my favorite night.
What's an amateur drinker?
The amateur drinkers are the people who come out on like New Year's Eve and Halloween and whatever, and they get plastered and make asses out of themselves, while the rest of us that drink all the time are like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. All right. It's a lot of practice. So they decided after New Year's Eve, and that was the year that Ohio State, with the worst field goal in history, lost to Georgia and shouldn't have, right? That was that year. So we went out the night before to downtown Charleston and tied one on, and they wanted to, for New Year's Day morning, the celebration was to get up, go to the Atlantic Ocean at 7:30 in the morning, in the middle of New Year's Day morning, and do a polar plunge into the Atlantic Ocean. There were, and I am not exaggerating, thousands of people that lined the beach on Folly Beach, South Carolina. And when the horn blew at 8 a.m., we all just sprinted into the ocean. I'm like, you know what?
Guys, I'm going home.
That was my thought. But I said, you know what? It's new family. I knew I was very close to proposing. I'm like, I gotta, you gotta get the kudos, you gotta get the brownie points. What I need is to have the sister and the brother-in-law telling her, if he proposes and you say no, you're out of the family and he's taking your spot, right? Needed the suck up point. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna run into the damn Atlantic Ocean at 8 a.m.
You didn't even think for a moment, hey, I'll just be the guy who's filming it. It just jumped out. It's like, let me get these angles right, this kind of stuff.
You know, Zoe, you know that Rob Brown is a dude who, if he's got a chance to do a thing, he's doing the thing. All right. I like memories, not photos. Right.
Well, you could have taken some.
Nope. I was doing the thing.
Memories.
I was doing the thing. I'm not going to miss the chance to do a thing. And you don't know, like maybe it's one of those things where you're like, this is new. I've never done anything like this before. Let's do it. Maybe I'm going to love it. Nope. Hated it. Every second of it. Dude, every second of it.
There are some things you look at and go, no, I am not going to love that.
You never know. There's a lot of stuff I felt that way. And then I did it. And I'm like, that was kind of awesome. I'm going to do this again, right? This was not one of them. Would you
wrestle a bear?
No, but
you've never done it, but I'm sure it's fun.
I've gone skydiving, which is something that I'd say, I'll never do. And then I did it. It was the most amazing thing I've ever done. And I would absolutely do it again. I thought, I'm not dying from jumping in cold water. All right. You know that. You're doing it every day this week.
I feel like I'm dying every single time I do it.
So we ran out into the ocean, and it was this weird thing because we were out there. We hung out for a minute. We got out, got all toweled off and everything. And there was about a 10-minute period where I was like, I got to tell you, like I kind of feel like renewed. Like I really feel good. Like this is a real good reset button opportunity. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to get inspired. I'm going to change the way I'm living. I'm going to be a healthy person now. That lasted about 7 minutes. And then I was like, oh, it's 8:40 and there's mimosas for breakfast. I'm just going to bang down 3 or 4 bottles of champagne and go home and take a nap.
You're going to warm yourself from the inside.
Yeah.
You guys weren't naked, were you?
No, there was 10,000 people on the beach.
There could be 10,000 naked people on the beach. There absolutely could be.
No, I don't know why you think that doing something outlandish means that there must be like complete weirdo. Like you can't just go, maybe it'd be nice to jump in some cold water and reset the body for a minute. No. All you weirdos going full nudity on Orgy Beach, South Carolina.
Wait,
it was none of that. It was none of that.
So you know that there's
in fact not only
is there a beach called Orgy Beach?
I mean, I'm sure there is somewhere. Not around here. Guarantee you that wouldn't fly around here. We went out. We were all in costumes and everything. It was very cool. It was a lot of fun.
What kind of costumes?
I was Adam Page that day. Full millennial cowboy.
And
it was great.
And no one knew who you were except for you.
Like 6 people.
Okay.
The point was we had a ball. It was a great time. And again, you cold water people, I don't understand you. And I don't think I ever will. And that's okay. Live your life. Do what's best for you. Do what works for you.
By the way, there are many nude beaches in South and North Carolina.
I mean, do your thing.
Including Whispering Pines Nudist Resort.
For the record, I'm not against it. If that's how you want to live your life, live your life. I ain't got that confidence in me. All right.
Wait. There's one in Chesney. It's the Carolina Foothills Resort. They open at 10 a.m.
I would
just in case you wanted to know.
Lying to tell you I'm not a little curious. Now, here's what I'll say. I've been to a nude beach before. I didn't get nude. I don't have if you'll pardon the expression, I don't have to get nude in front of a bunch of people.
Okay,
all right.
So why would you go to a nude beach if you're not going to be nude? Isn't that kind of weird?
No, it was well, okay, in fairness, this wasn't a nude beach that it's like you go to the beach and you must get nude. It was just a beach.
Optional.
But right, but if you wanted to get naked, you could get naked. And all I'm going to say is one of the most old school comedian tropes of all time, nobody who gets nude at the nude beach is a person you want to see nude.
Yeah.
All right?
Okay.
Listen, if you're going to tell me
this by looking at everyone at the nude beach to see if there was anyone that you should be looking at the
dude, everybody's naked. What do you think? The sky's real pretty today. Yes, people are naked. You're going to look around. Now, I will say this. I was like 27, 26 when this happened.
That was a long time ago.
And yes, it was. And what I can say is, and I think this is kind of the point, there's no like overwhelmed. There's no sexuality at all to it, right? Because if you go there and you're sexualizing it, you get outed as a creep real quick, and your ass will get run off the beach. There's no inherent sexuality to it, right? Like I am one of these weird people that I'm like, nudity doesn't immediately make me go, ooh, sexy time. Like, nah, you're just naked. It's how we come into the world. It's how we'll go out of it, all right? You're in the buff. What do you want? It is what it is. But I will also say, if the nude beach was full of Scarlett Johanssons and Bradley Coopers, yeah, it'd probably be a different story. You'd probably be like, all right, I probably need to leave. I probably need to get up out of here. Most of them ain't that way. The people at the nudie beach ain't the people you want to see in the nudie. That's not how it goes. So how do we end up here? Anyway, point was, cold water people, you're weird. I don't get you. All right. Live your best life. I'm here for you. I don't, there is only one group of people whom I judge their lifestyle and think they should stop. Who is it, Lonzo? The one group of people that I am anti. Furries. You're weird. Stop being furries. Don't be furries.
Let them live, man. Let them live.
I am 100% let them live for every lifestyle choice, decision. I don't care. I am the most I'm out of your life person you're ever going to meet. Live and let live person you're ever going to meet. Except furries. They're weird, and you should all be forced to stop.
Way to find the exact opposite of nude. I mean, good job.
The
opposite of nude is furries.
Yes. I would rather hang out with a bunch of fat, floppy people at a nude beach than hang out with a bunch of furries. Just so we're very clear.
Oh, the floppy part's throwing me a little.
I meant that every sense of the word.
Okay.
Then hang out with furries. All right. I'm sorry. And again, I'm not, if you are a furry and also listening to this show, which you're not, please know you're a good person. I don't have any issue with you personally. You're a good person. All right.
If a furry goes to a nude beach, do they just take the clothes off their furry parts?
Not only have I never thought, I don't think anyone has ever thought about that until right now. All right, we got a show lined up.
I ain't had no sleep, people.
That's also fair. I have been sweaty the last couple of nights. Last night was actually pretty comfortable outside. We opened the windows up last night. It was actually pretty nice in my house last night.
If I open the windows, something's coming in there.
It's true. I have creature comforts. Alonso has creatures. It's a difference. All right, we got a show lined up for you today. A lot we got to get into. We'll get into some college football today as the AP Top 25 poll dropped on Sunday. The University of Alabama makes their return to numero uno in the AP Top 25 poll. What does that, if anything, mean for the long haul? What's it mean for Georgia, Texas, Ohio State, and all the other teams that are stacked up behind them?
For Rob to brag is what it means.
I mean, I got plenty of them, but about
Alabama.
That is one more.
I just because I remember I said they were done, and you were like, "No, they're not," and you were right at the moment.
See this noggin up here?
Probably the only way you're actually hearing the show. So yeah,
that's where I keep my ball knowing, right there, right in the noggin.
Was that the right side of your brain?
In the right side, the logic side, left is creative.
The fact that you're asking that. Anyway.
I don't know. I also apparently didn't know the difference between a fruit and a vegetable until yesterday, but we're here to learn things on the Rob Brown Show. We're a sports talk show, but we're ever so much more than just a sports talk show. All right, so we're going to talk some college football later on today, including a little bit more nuanced breakdown of Clemson versus Stanford from the weekend. The W that was picked up by Dabo Swinney's Tigers. And obviously we start turning our attention towards what is a big time contest coming up in Columbia this weekend as the Ole Miss Runnin' Rebels are going to be looking to get right after they got upset by the Kentucky Wildcats, a team that South Carolina went up to Lexington, Kentucky, and slapped around a little bit earlier in the year. They turned around and they got the better of Lane Kiffin's running Rebels. Now the Rebels are going to be looking to get it tight, get it right when they take on the Gamecocks in Columbia. The Gamecocks obviously coming off of a week off after their win over Akron last Saturday. So will the renewed health and vigor of the Gamecocks give them an opportunity to knock off Ole Miss, or will the Rebels be able to rebound? We're going to talk about that game and start turning our attention to week. What are we on, week 6 now? Week 5, week 6, whatever week we're on. Week 6, right? Week 5. Yeah, week 5 in the NFL, week 6 in college football. Talk about that. Matt Stafford made history last night. Nope, Jared Goff did too. I mean, I'm sure Matt Stafford did something historic last night, but Jared Goff made history last night for the Detroit Lions. We're going to talk about that. 2 bits of history for the. By the way, really like the all black. Wish it was trimmed in silver. Don't love the blue helmets. I think all black with the silver is a great look. I don't like the blue helmets for Detroit.
All right, so unfortunately, I was watching this game on my iPad last night and I fell asleep for brief moments. But when I first turned it on, I'm like, who is that? Talking about Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, because I was watching the Miami game and I switched over because this game was supposed to be a better game, and it was. And it's like, okay, is that Seattle? Because that's kind of, no, that's not Seattle. That's okay.
Yeah, I didn't love the. I like the all black. I'm a big fan of the all black unis. Not the helmets. Didn't love helmets.
But
what I am a big fan of,
the blue is very close to the Seattle blue in those helmets. I mean, at first glance.
I mean, nah, I think Seattle's is like a little darker.
It's dull.
And for the record, I'm a big cobalt. Yeah, I would like those helmets more, I think, if it was blue unis with black numbers.
Or just some stripes on the pants probably would help.
Just something. It was like, I was like real close to being real good, but just not quite
the
there.
pants look like leotards.
You know what was there? Jared Goff, 18 of 18 for 2 touchdowns, no picks last night, sets the NFL record for most passes without an incompletion, shattered the previous record set back in 2005 by Kurt Warner when he was playing for the Arizona Cardinals. He did it against the Houston Texans in 2005 last night. Jared Goff does it for the Detroit Lions against the Seattle Seahawks, 42-29 winners. We're going to talk about that.
I thought he was done. I thought Jared Goff was not good.
Rob Brown didn't say that.
I was echoing the the sports narrative that was said about him.
Oh, was that in one of the emails that we get every morning about the things we're supposed to say?
No, this was a few years ago before the trade. You know, he was done. He couldn't be. Yeah, and he looks pretty good.
I just learned that my favorite quarterback in the NFL is C.J. Beathard. Apparently,
it's Beathard.
Apparently, and I don't know if I got to find out if he was related or not. This is obviously my work to be done during the break. But apparently, in 1966. There was a guy named Pete Beathard.
I thought you were going to talk about Bobby Beathard, but
no, Pete Beathard, which means that he was Peter Beathard, or on the roster, Beathard Peter. We should probably go to break now. I felt like that was information you all needed to know, and I feel like you're all better people for knowing that there was a Peter Beathard. Beathard Peter, quarterback, Detroit Lions. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio, whether you like it or not, on the Fan Upstate.
I will.
All right, good morning, all the people on the stream. We got to do a quick read. Stay right there, please, and thank you. yesterday. We begin with a baseball legend. Pete Rose, MLB's all-time hit king. I don't care if you banished him from ball. He will forever be the MLB hit king. Pete Rose did things at the dish that other people wish that they could do, including when he knocked off Ty Cobb to set the record for all-time hits in a single season. Rob Brown said before he switched his computer back to the output. Man, that was going to be such a nice and dramatic way to play that.
It was a good transition. It really was.
Such as when Pete Rose passed Ty Cobb to set the Major League Baseball record for most career hits.
And here comes the main attraction. And they're on their feet. Rose walking toward the plate. The most famous number 14 in the history of this game, and trying to make history right here in the first inning tonight. He levels the bat a couple of times. Shao kicks and he fires. Rose swings.
There it is! There it is! Get out! Get out! All right!
Hit number 4192. A line drive single into left center field. A clean base hit. And it is pandemonium here at Riverfront Stadium. The fireworks exploding overhead. The Cincinnati dugout has emptied. The applause continues unabated. Rose completely encircled by his teammates at first base. Joe, quite an emotional scene here at the ballpark.
Another base hit. Yes, it is. That's
And Rose now recognizing this outpouring of affection from the standing room only crowd as he turns a complete circle, waving and doffing his batting helmet to the crowd. And the folks on this date, September the 11th, certainly have not been disappointed one iota.
an almost unbelievable sight here at Riverfront Stadium on this September the 11th, 1985.
Well,
what an outstanding show.
I'll tell you what, there's never been a hometown athlete more loved by the residents, the natives of that city than Pete Rose is loved by the people of Cincinnati, Ohio.
So there you have it. Pete Rose setting the career record for MLB hits. He would end his career with 4,256 career hits, a record that stands to today, and doesn't just stand to today, but a record that stands to today. And number two is still Ty Cobb. No one has even threatened Pete Rose at this point. No one else has been able to get past number two. Pete Rose also holds the record for most career singles at 3,215. He holds the MLB record for most career games played at 3,562. He holds the MLB record for most career at-bats with 14,053, and he holds the MLB career plate appearances record with 15,890. Rose ended his career making the All-Star game 17 times, won the World Series 3 times, twice with the Reds, once with the Phillies, 75, 76, and 80. He was the 1973 National League MVP. He was the 1975 World Series MVP, the 1963 NL Rookie of the Year, a 2-time Gold Glove Award winner in 69 and 70, the 1981 Silver Slugger Award winner. He won the Roberto Clemente Award in 1976. He was a 3-time National League batting champion in 68, 69, and 73. The Cincinnati Reds retired his number 14 jersey. He was inducted into the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and named to the Major League Baseball All-Century team. But of course, there is also the other side of that conversation. And that conversation was the betting scandal and the ultimate banishment from Pete Rose from Major League Baseball, which was handed down by Paul Giamatti back in 1989, as well as commissioner of baseball at the time, Pete Oberoth. With his lawyer present, Rose stated that he had bet on football, basketball, and horse racing, but vehemently denied the allegations of betting on baseball. But by that time, MLB owners had decided to give Giamatti ultimately the decision that Oberoth would eventually uphold. Sports Illustrated gave the public their first detailed report of the allegations that Rose had placed bets on baseball games back in March of 1989. In the cover story of the issue dated April 3rd, 1989, Paul Giamatti assumed office as the 7th commissioner of baseball on April 1st. 3 days later, lawyer John Dowd was retained to investigate the charges against Rose. Dowd interviewed many of Rose's associates, including alleged bookmakers and bet runners, and delivered a summary of his findings to the commissioner in May of 89. And in it, he documented Rose's alleged gambling activities in 85 and 86 and compiled a day-to-day account of his alleged betting on baseball in 1987. The Dowd report documented alleged bets on 52 Reds games in 1987, cited Rose wagering a minimum of $10,000 a day, whereas others allegedly involved in the activities claimed that number was actually closer to $2,000 a day. Rose continued to deny the accusations against him and refused to appear alongside Giamatti because he felt like he was being done wrong at the time. But on August 24th of 1989, Rose voluntarily accepted a permanent ban on from baseball and a permanent placement on the ineligible list. He accepted that there was a factual reason for the ban, though he never fully clarified that. MLB agreed to make no formal finding with regard to the gambling allegations. According to baseball's rules, Rose could apply for reinstatement in 1 year, but Giamatti said, quote, "There is absolutely no deal for reinstatement. That is exactly what we did not agree to in terms of a fixed number of years." Rose was replaced as the Reds manager after acquiring a .412 and .373 record at the time. Although the Dowd report stated there was no evidence that Rose ever bet against the Reds, Dowd in his report stated that he believed Rose probably bet against the Reds while managing the team. And that, I think, was ultimately the reason that Pete Rose caught the suspension. So this is it's a weird case study, especially in the direct aftermath of the passing of Pete Rose. Because, I've said for years that there is a very short list of topics that I do not bring up on this show, and I do not let other people bring up on this show. It's not extensive. Number one on that list is, should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame? And the reason why is nobody's ever going to change their mind on that. Have you met anyone in history who can say, yeah, I changed my mind? I didn't used to think Rose should be in, but now I do. Or I used to think Rose should be in, now I don't. I can't say that is the case. So with all of that being said, I think this is a situation that I look at and I go, Pete Rose, the player, was obviously, to anybody who has eyeballs and any working knowledge of baseball, obviously one of the greatest of all time.
Without a doubt, and I'm from Ohio, and was a little kid when all this was going on. Not a baseball fan, but always was a Pete Rose fan, because you couldn't go anywhere in Columbus and not hear about him, even though he played in Cincinnati. Still, played in Ohio, and I think he should be in the Hall.
There's a lot of people.
I think if you ask anybody in Ohio, they'll say that. But of course, sure, that makes sense.
It's I think the conversation is as ugly as it feels, especially, like I said, within, less than 12 hours after the announcement of his passing. The reality is this: Pete Rose is one of the greatest hitters, maybe the greatest hitter of all time. Certainly the greatest contact hitter of all time. One of the greatest hitters of all time. To this day, if I am a baseball coach, I am telling kids, get on YouTube and watch Pete Rose. I spent last night, as I laid in my bed with no power. Fortunately, the cell phone service is back. as I laid in bed last night after the announcement of Pete Rose's passing, I went on YouTube and I watched I watched 1,000 Pete Rose highlights from his career, both with the Reds and the Phillies. And I came across a video of Pete Rose on MLB Network. And he was talking to the two hosts. And they said, when you got into a slump, which was rare, but how did you fix it? Pete Rose gave one of the greatest minute-and-a-half long pieces of baseball video I've ever seen. He said, there are 6 things that I tell you to try and never change your swing. He said, you can step forward in the box, you can step back in the box, you can step left in the box, you can step right in the box, you can choke up and you can choke down, but don't ever change your swing. And the guy goes, why would you tell people not to change the swing? And he said, your swing got you to the big leagues. Why would you change your swing? Change the things around your swing. And I've never heard anybody put it that way before. You know what I mean? Like, I've never heard anybody lay it out that way. And I thought that's absolutely brilliant. That's why Pete Rose was one of, if not the greatest hitters of all time. But the guy also broke what is effectively rule number 1 of baseball. Don't bet on the game. Decker, who we've, I've been doing a show with Cody Decker, who's a former Major League Baseball player for a number of years. And Deck says, when you walk into a clubhouse as a minor leaguer on day number 1, it is hammered into you. Do not bet on baseball. In fact, most managers will tell you, don't gamble at all. Don't even create a situation where it might look like you're gambling on baseball. It is drilled into your head from the time you walk into a clubhouse until the day that you retire. Do not bet on this game or you will be out of this game. So he broke one of the cardinal rules of baseball. And I don't know if it was drilled into your head in the 60s when Pete Rose was coming up or the 70s when Pete Rose was in his prime. But by the time he's a manager, he's got to know that's a rule. It's an ugly situation. So I think for me, I am going to spend the day reminiscing and ruminating on Pete Rose, the player, because Pete Rose, the player, was a generational difference maker. Let's take a break. I want your thoughts on the passing of Pete Rose. We'll talk more about it later in the show. Rob Alonzo and you, The Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate. Guys, give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Dikembe Mutombo, the legendary, played for a lot of teams, center. One of the greatest defensive players of all time. A defensive player that I will go so far as to say a young Rob Brown growing up learning the game of basketball was encouraged to and ultimately did model his game around a little bit. I always wanted to be a great defensive player. Now, part of that was because I was a crappy offensive player, so it was the only way I was ever getting my lanky ass on the floor.
I'm just trying to figure out how you made up for the height, because there's a little bit of a difference there.
6'3" in high school, I was tall. Now I'm just a dude, all right? But 6'3", I was a tall guy playing high school ball. So, I wanted to be a great defender. I wanted to take charges. I wanted to box out. And I wanted to make sure that if you got the ball in the paint and you scored, you were paying for it. Learned all that from Dikembe Mutombo. My uncle Mike taught me basketball growing up. Big basketball guy. I've talked about him on the show before. My uncle Mike was the dude that was like, watch this cat play defense. This is who you're going to be. There were two guys that he always said, these are the guys you want to be. Now, I recognize now at 40 that the reason that he always told me these are the guys you want to be is because I sucked on offense. And he's like, if this kid's going to learn to be a basketball player, it's going to have to be defensively and as a garbage player. And he was right, which stings a little bit. But Dikembe Mutombo and Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon were the guys. Learn to play like them. And they finished their career Olajuwon 1, Mutombo 2 in all-time blocks. Dikembe Mutombo, the player, was spectacular. Dikembe Mutombo, the player, was an all-time great. Dikembe Mutombo, the guy,
No, not today.
is a legend, is an icon. Now, I was trying to think of what clip can I play from Dikembe Mutombo, of which there are countless. Which clip can I play to kind of bring out the personality of Dikembe Mutombo? Because while I think Pete Rose, the player, should be celebrated, Pete Rose, the guy, is a complicated character. Pete Rose, the guy, is a guy that there were some question marks that you had to ask. There were some things about Pete Rose that I don't mean to speak ill, but like not necessarily a guy that, unless you're from Cincinnati, is a dude that a parent is going to tell their kid, be like that guy. Not just as an athlete, not just as a player, but as a person. Be like that guy.
Unless your dad's a bookie.
Unless your dad's a bookie, then absolutely. Well, no. If your dad's a bookie, he does not want you to be like Pete Rose. He wants you to be like him and find a guy who's like Pete Rose. Okay. Right? Well,
I mean, it's still Pete Rose adjacent.
Pete Rose adjacent. Dikembe Mutombo is a dude that you absolutely tell your kids, be like that guy. Be like that guy. I was curious yesterday. I can't find a negative story about Dikembe Mutombo anywhere. Now, I was like, what sound do I play? What clip do I roll to show why I love Dikembe Mutombo? And I found 50 that I was like, I don't know which one to use. And then I came across the one that I have to use. There's a infamous story out there about Dikembe Mutombo during his time as an NBA player. And the infamous story about Dikembe Mutombo is that during his prime, Mutombo would walk into nightclubs as an NBA player, tall, good looking, very rich, vivacious. He would walk into clubs. He would get the attention of the club, and he would very, very vocally ask the club, who wants to sex Mutombo? And that story went around for years. Well, a couple of years back, Dikembe Mutombo was on a podcast with Dan Le Batard and Bomani Jones. And Le Batard was like, straight up, I'm going to ask him, is this story true? And it led to this exchange between Bomani Jones, Dan Le Batard, and Dikembe Mutombo.
Heard and
urban legend, and you can confirm it for us now. You know what I'm going to ask him, right? Is it true that Dikembe Mutombo used to walk in his heyday, in the glory days of his life, used to walk into a nightclub? You know what I'm going to ask too. Used to walk into a place and say,
Don't believe on that crack. I know where you're going with that. I know
Go there.
where you're going.
Keep going. Keep
Let
going.
me tell you. Let me give you something. Let me give you something. That way you know where I'm going. No. I know where you're going. I always say, who came out with that crap?
that's not
Always
true?
ask everybody who came out with that crap.
Oh, it's so
First of all,
disappointing.
I did have a beautiful girlfriend back in the day, and I really did enjoy myself in college. But you know what? It's tough that when you get to the top, there's always somebody trying to come up with some funny thing.
It's a conspiracy.
Or maybe you took all of the girls away from him when he was in college, or you did get all the attention when you was walking in the club, he didn't get. You know, those things you hear that from the guys, man. Do you know how many times guys have come to me in the club, they say, oh man, we don't like when you guys come to the club because there's no women looking at us.
But if you did walk in the club and say, who wants to sex with Mutombo, it would be kind of cool,
It'd be
right?
a great story.
No. It's a great story, but
That's unfortunate.
it didn't happen. I always try to correct that.
That's good. It's a long explanation, though.
Come on. He doesn't believe you. I don't want to believe you either.
Hey,
actually.
now you believe it because you got it from the source.
Dikembe
There is nothing more I love than Dikembe Mutombo hysterically laughing away the story that he used to walk in the nightclub, look at the ladies, and say, who wants to sex Mutombo?
Do you believe him? Because I don't. I believe he did that. Yes, I absolutely do.
I really want to. I'm with Bomani and Lebitard in this one. I really want to believe that Mutombo walked into. And here's the thing: if I go out with the fellas, Rob Brown's out with the boys. Rob Brown walks into a local watering establishment. If any of my guys had the audacity to look at a group of women and say, who wants to sex Ryan? Ryan's getting hit in the nose. Ryan's getting slapped across the face. All right.
Why do I believe there actually is a Ryan?
There's a Ryan. He's actually the nicest, most like the sweet guy in the group. There's no world he would ever say anything like that, even if it was locker room talk. All right. Now, there are I don't think I have any now, but like through the various seasons of Rob Brown's life, there's absolutely been friends, fellas, dudes, bros in my life that absolutely would be the guy that would walk in and go, who wants to sex John?
Rob, there's a guy like that in every group.
For sure.
I had a guy like that in my group too. So, I mean, and he thought everyone would want to, and they never did.
And
but he still, had that confidence.
Here's the thing: I've had dudes like that in my circles in years gone by, for sure. Here's the thing: when Ryan or John or Tanner or Blaine does it,
hold on.
I knew one Blaine. I didn't know one Blaine in college,
and a Tanner
and a Tanner. Yes,
they were in the same group.
Yes.
Nothing says
shocking. I know.
Nothing says preppy group like
shocking,
like Tanner.
Oh no,
and Blaine.
they weren't in my direct circle. They were circle adjacent. I'm going to use that word a lot today.
Okay, you're welcome.
If Blaine walks in the bar and goes, "Who wants to sex Blaine?" I want to punch Blaine. However, Dikembe Mutombo was such a dude that I feel like if I was in the bar, it doesn't matter that he's 7'2" and 280 pounds and could have sent me into low Earth orbit with an uppercut if he wanted to. But if I was in the bar and Dikembe Mutombo in his prime walked in and said, who wants to sex Mutombo? I would have been like, I feel like most of the women here want to sex Mutombo. I get it. The dude's not only a great basketball player, not only in his prime, young, handsome, and rich, but on top of that, he's awesome. Like, he's awesome.
But if your girl that you're with says yes, you're done, right?
Well, yeah, obviously, but that's
I mean, forever you're done.
that's anybody, right? Like if
Yeah.
the girl you're with goes, I'm gonna sex Mutombo, yeah, she's not your girl anymore. All right. That's one thing. I am talking about when you go to the bar and there's a lovely group of single young ladies out there that are looking to mingle just a little bit. If it's one thing for Tanner or Blaine. Texter says Rob's circle sounds like a group of Pokemon gym leaders.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. They sound like a bunch of rich dudes is what they sound. They're out there with daddy's money, riding up in the Mercedes. It's Blaine's Mercedes for sure. And, you know, it's got a little extra room in it for all the fellas. And then Blaine is leaving all the fellas without a ride if some girl says yes.
I am just going with this. The fact that Dikembe Mutombo,
I hope Blaine is listening, by the way.
screw you, Blaine. You know what you did. The fact that Dikembe Mutombo had to go on the record and say, no, I did not walk into nightclubs and out loud say, who wants to sex Mutombo? And not only did he have to go on the record to dispute that story, every one of us is like, no, you did. You did. No, you did. You did. No, Dikembe, I don't believe you about what Dikembe used to do and didn't used to do. I believe that you absolutely rolled up into the nightclub and said, who wants to sex Mutombo? And in honor of that, tonight when the fiance or when the wife gets home, I'll be like, who wants to sex Rob? It's not going to happen. She's not going to say yes. But I feel like in this, in honor of one of the greatest defensive basketball players of all time, and just one of the greatest dudes, one of the greatest. The NBA started the ambassador for global basketball, and Dikembe Mutombo was the unanimous consensus first person to fill that office. This man was selected by the NBA to be its representative to the entire globe. That's how good of a dude Dikembe Mutombo is. And yet, the story was he walked in the nightclubs and said, who wants to sex Mutombo? And none of us have a problem with it. None of us. None of us have an issue with it. We're all like, all right, that's kind of awesome. Do you know the aura that you have to be able to pull off a line like, who wants to sex me? And all the dudes are like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's awesome. The vibe you have to roll in the nightclub and ask that question that way and use your own name as the tag on it and have dudes across America go,
There's only certain guys in the history of mankind who could probably pull that off.
yeah, like legit. I want you to know, since I started this, I'm trying to think, who else is in that group? What other dudes if Brady walked into the club and went, who wants to sex Brady? Even I'd be like, Tom.
Bradley Cooper, I think, could pull that off possibly.
I don't think so. I don't even think, and you know, I love Bradley Cooper. Like when they make the story of Rob Brown, Bradley Cooper is going to play the role of Rob Brown. All right. Because we look so much alike. I love Bradley Cooper. I don't even think Bradley Cooper, if you were to story tomorrow, you know who could do it? McConaughey.
Yeah.
If
probably.
McConaughey rolled in the bar and went, who wants to sex McConaughey? You'd be like, checks out. And you know, someone would want to sex McConaughey. And you'd be like, I get it. The guy's very handsome. And in a weird way that, like, if there was a dude in my circle just like Matthew McConaughey, I wouldn't want to be friends with him. He's too crunchy for me. Second time we're using that term today. Too crunchy. Except actual Matthew McConaughey, who I'm like, I kind of want to roll through the Texas outback doing Hiawatha with Matthew McConaughey. It sounds awesome.
Is that like peyote or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know if that's the right word for it. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Okay.
It's the stuff that Aaron Rodgers does, the mushroom stuff.
Oh, okay. All right.
Whatever it is. Point is, like, the list of dudes that can get away with who wants to sex my last name. It's like Mutombo, McConaughey, and Jack Black. That's it. Like, Jack Black's awesome enough. I would have said Dave Grohl up until like 2 weeks ago. He took himself off the list.
Well, probably for doing that exact thing, sort of. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. When she gets home at 5:30 today and opens the door, who wants to sex Brown? I'm going to guess the answer is no. We'll see. Who wants to sports flash Lonzo?
Wow. She's going to hold the finger up and go,
Oh, for
no,
sure.
no, no, no.
Not today. Wait.
No, not today.
And the laugh will definitely happen. The Atlanta Braves needed just one win out of 2 games against the Mets yesterday. Punch a ticket to the MLB postseason. The Braves fell 8-7 in game 1 at Atlanta as Atlanta took a 1-run lead into the 9th, but allowed a 2-run home run to Francisco Lindor to give the Mets the win. In game 2, Grant Holmes got the start on short notice and went for 4 innings with 7 strikeouts while the Braves collected 6 hits and a 3-0 lead. Atlanta begins their playoff run tonight at 8:30 against the Padres in San Diego. Rob really needs to learn how to write shorter stories, no matter how much I edit. Tune in this Saturday at 12:30 as the Furman Paladins take on the Citadel Bulldogs. It's Furman versus Citadel right here on your home for Paladins football, the Fan, Upstate.
A haunted obviously starts. No, it's not. Zach, we stink again. We had 2 good games. Now we stink again.
Yeah, the Chiefs' number 1 receiver is out for the season. Whatever shall they do?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Shefty has thoughts.
I saw that they were talking about who they should trade for, but I didn't actually watch it or listen to it. So will Mahomes think twice about making a tackle next time? And the comments are brutal about Rashee Rice.
The funniest.
Making the comparisons to, yeah.
There was one very, very funny one. It was brutal. Hopkins is on the list, Zach, is one of the possible candidates. And I'll tell you right now, I hate it. Chiefs are going for 3 if they go get Nuke.
I mean, they're going for 3 anyway. Last I checked, they're undefeated. I mean, you know.
Last I checked, you're missing a lot of dudes.
Yeah, well, yeah.
At some point.
I do recall that being said last year, too. But, you know. Hey, no one's ever done 3 in a row. So the odds are very much against them. QC in the first break.
UC in the first break. Ten. No, UNC, Chris. I don't think the wife is gonna go for do it for Mutombo. I don't think she's gonna be on board. I mean, I'm not saying I'm above trying. I'll give it a run. I think it might. The odds for success would be greatly improved if we had power. You know what I mean? Like if we had air conditioning and electricity, then like maybe I could get away with Who Wants to Sex Brown, do it for Mutombo, and maybe that'll work. But I'm just gonna say I'm like a plus 950 underdog for that working.
If the founding fathers and the people came to this country to make the great country that it is today needed air conditioning, we wouldn't be here right now.
You know what the difference was? They didn't know about it.
Well, that is true. It didn't exist.
Yeah, I know about it. In fact, not only do I know about it, I've experienced it all my life.
You're talking about air conditioning, by the way.
Correct. That needs to be clarified greatly. Hey, Skrilla's got another one. Skrilla's got another one to add to the bro who could walk into the bar and ask, who wants to sex my name club? Zlatan Ibrahimovic. If you're a soccer bro, you know good and gosh darn well he would. Now, he only refers to himself as his first name, not his last name. So he would absolutely roll into the bar and go, who wants to sex Zlatan? And we'd all go, yeah, that works. That works. Zlatan, Mutombo, McConaughey. That might be the list.
See, I can't help but picture, the guys in the place just holding their thumbs up, pointing at him like, yeah, way to go, dude. Yeah. You're the only one in here who could do this.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I am willing to bet most of us wish we had that, as the kids say, aura. I wish at any point in my life that I was the dude that could have gotten away with walking into the bar and saying that and not having people wanting to punch me in the gut for it. But I'm not. I never have been. I ain't got that kind of, what do the kids say? Riz? I ain't that kind of, I don't have that kind of riz. Dikembe Mutombo damn sure did.
Are you absolutely certain that's the right word?
90%. Yeah, no, I am.
I was going to say,
I am.
90% is good enough, I suppose.
I think I am. I think I'm good there. Mutombo.
There's no kids in the building that we could go ask, I guess.
That's also true.
Yeah.
That's also true.
Everybody's at least almost 30. So, I mean,
It's 7:05 in the morning, ladies and gentlemen. You have 55 minutes till you got to get clocked in and locked in at work. And when you do, whether you're going into the office or not going into the office, or maybe you're working remotely, maybe you're not working at all, maybe there's still no power at your office, which I'm sorry to hear. Either way, you're going to talk about sports today. You know it. I know it. We know it. And if you're going to talk sports, you got to know what's going on in sports, and that's why we do this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying, Before they take their first bathroom break.
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstairs.
The water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you need to know before you start talking sports with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you have to be around today. When you do, this is what you will be talking about. Let's dive right in with item number 1. As we mentioned just a few minutes ago, a pair of legends in the sports world passing yesterday. One of them, the all-time MLB hits leader, Pete Rose, passing away yesterday at 83 years of age, a spokesperson for the Clark County something office, a spokesperson for Clark County. There you go. I'm a professional. I'm good at this. Confirming on behalf of the family and the medical examiner that Rose passed away yesterday. Found by a family member, coroner will investigate to determine the cause and manner of death, but there are no signs of foul play. Over the weekend, Rose had appeared at an autograph show in Nashville alongside former teammates Tony Perez, George Foster, and Dave Concepcion. If you were a baseball fan in the 60s and 70s, Pete Rose was the face of baseball. I mean, the dude was an absolutely electrifying player back in the day. Just about every record from the dish was either held by Pete Rose or is still held by Pete Rose. Pete Rose finished his career as a 17-time All-Star, a 3-time World Series champ, an NL MVP, a World Series MVP, an NL Rookie of the Year, a 2-time Gold Glove Award winner, a Silver Slugger Award winner, the Roberto Clemente Award winner in 1976, a 3-time NL batting champ. His number was retired by the Cincinnati Reds. He went into the Reds Hall of Fame. He is on the Major League Baseball's 1900s All-Century team, and he holds 5 MLB offensive records to date. 4,256 career hits, 3,215 career singles, 3,562 career games played, 14,053 at-bats, 15,890 plate appearances. Those are all Major League Baseball records that still belong to Pete Rose. But obviously the conversation about Pete Rose, fairly or unfairly, has long moved past his capability, talent, skill as a baseball player and went into his transgressions as a baseball manager, where he ultimately admitted, though he did not ever directly say for sure, he did admit fault when he accepted a lifetime ban from baseball. Pete Rose obviously tried multiple times to be reinstated into Major League Baseball. None of those efforts proved fruitful. As late as last year, when Rob Manfred was asked at the All-Star game, hey, now that baseball has open partnerships with sports gambling outlets, will Pete Rose's reinstatement be considered? And Manfred said, no, it will not be. Pete Rose passing away yesterday at 83. The other icon, Dikembe Mutombo, one of the greatest defensive players in the history of the National Basketball Association, after a battle with brain cancer, passing away at just 58 years of age. Aside from his incredible on-the-floor career, Dikembe Mutombo was appointed the NBA's first global ambassador for basketball. Loved the game of ball. Grew up in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Went way out of his way to invest in the game in Africa. And you are continuing to see the fruits of those labors with basketball on that continent. Dikembe Mutombo finishes career with 3,289 blocks, second only to Akeem the Dream Olajuwon for most blocks in the career. And on top of that, was just a good and hilarious human being. RIP to Dikembe Mutombo and Pete Rose. Let's get to item number 2. The Atlanta Braves decided to make it ugly for absolutely no reason at all, but they are into and onto the postseason. The Atlanta Braves clinched the final wild card spot in the NL yesterday. They started a doubleheader against the New York Mets yesterday afternoon with Spencer Schwellenbach on the bump. Spencer had a pretty good go of it. Didn't matter. Bravos took a 1-run lead into the final inning of play. And then Francisco Lindor went yard for a 2-run shot that put the Mets up 8-7. They would hang on and they would punch their ticket after game number 1. In that game, Spencer Schwellenbach finished 7 innings, gave up just 4 hits, 1 earned run, K'd 5 through that contest before handing it over to the rotation of Jimenez, Iglesias, Bummer, and Johnson. So we went to game 2. The Bravos had to win game number 2, or else the Arizona Diamondbacks would have taken the last spot. The Bravos did win game number 2, a 3-0 final score in that one. Grant Holmes got the nod. Chris Sale was expected to start this game, but Sale was pulled due to back spasms. Sale will not be available for Atlanta when the wild card round begins this evening, tonight at 8:10 p.m. on the road against the San Diego Padres. Grant Holmes got the nod, 4 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts before Hernandez, Lee Lopez, Jimenez, and Iglesias took over to wrap it up. The Mets went deep into the bullpen for this one because they didn't care. They were already locked in both to the postseason and to their position in it. It benefited the Braves. 3-0 winners in game number 2. Atlanta on to the postseason. They will be on the road in the wild card round at San Diego. And I find that one very interesting. We're going to talk about that series and the unfortunate reality that is the fact that, you're ready for it? Braves are getting swept in the wild card round. They will not win a playoff game this season. I'm ready to book that now, and we'll talk about that coming up here later on in the show. Finally, let's get to item number 3. Two Monday night. Are Monday Night Football games water cooler cheat sheet caliber? Like,
why wouldn't they be? They're actual sports that happened last night.
All right, that's fair.
Some people are waking up without power. I want to remind you.
Okay.
And still having spotty cell service, and they don't know who won last night.
That's very fair. Let's use them then. Item number 3, 2 Monday Night Football games yesterday evening, the first of which a 42-29 victory for the Detroit Lions over the Seattle Seahawks. Detroit last night, offensively, fireworks everywhere, and it all started with Jared Goff. Set an NFL record for most passes in a game without an incompletion. He was 18 of 18. Perfection for Jared Goff. 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions in this one. But there was more history to be made by the Lions last night. Amon-Ra St. Brown threw 1 pass. It was completed. 2, Jared Goff for a touchdown. They ran the Philly special. Ended up being a tutty in the hands of their starting QB, his first career receiving touchdown for Jared Goff. It also made the Detroit Lions the first team since 1933 to have a perfect completion percentage with multiple players throwing at least 1 pass. So big history night for the Lions last night. Jahmyr Gibbs, 78 yards on 14 carries. David Montgomery, 40 on 12. Jameson Williams, 2 catches for 80 yards, but one of them a 70-yard tutty. Sam Laporta, welcome back to the highlight reel. 4 snags, 53 yards for him. Both Williams and St. Brown had touchdown passes through the air. Jared Goff caught the third as well. 31-12, the Tennessee Titans end up knocking off the Miami Dolphins. Sans Tua Tagovailoa, they rolled out Tyler Huntley. He went 14 of 22 for 96 yards, no tutties, no picks last night. The Dolphins also had 106 rushing yards. 40 of those belonged to Tyler Huntley, the quarterback. The Miami Dolphins as a whole put together 202 all-purpose yards yesterday. Will Levis entered the game. He left the game after just 4 passing efforts, 3 of 4 for 25 yards, no touchdowns and 1 pick on a running play. Tried to leap to gain a first down, came down on the shoulder, and was yanked from the game after that, replaced by Mason Rudolph, who went 9 of 17 for 85 yards, no touches, no picks. It was Tony Pollard, the former Cowboy, who powered the Tennessee Titans offense, 22 carries, 88 yards, and a touchdown. Tyjae Spears had the other one for the Titans in this one. It was pretty much exactly what you thought it was going to be. Pretty much exactly how you thought this was going to go down without Tua Tagovailoa. The Dolphins just aren't good without that quarterback. So the question becomes, do the Dolphins make a move? There are 2 teams now that I think pretty much at this point have to make a move. One of those is the Miami Dolphins. The other one, Lonzo's Kansas City Chiefs, because Rashee Rice is officially out for the year. They are now down Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice at this point. So the wide receiver core decimated in Kansas City. We're going to talk about that and the Dolphins. And the reason why is both of those teams potentially interested in some players out of the Carolina Panthers roster. We're going to talk about that coming up later on in the show. Before we go to break, want to tell you, if you have out there any updates, information, knowledge that you think the people of the upstate would like to know as we continue to dig out and recover from Hurricane Helene, please text it to us, 71307. Start your text with FAN, 71307. Let us know what you got going on. What I do know is this. The Haywood Mall is effectively being used as a staging ground for line crews. There are hundreds and hundreds of line crews around the upstate working to get power instated. I've got 3 or 4 friends who got their power back last night. I know that they have done a lot of work around downtown Greenville and then working their way outward. We're going to do everything we can to keep you informed on all of that as the show moves on and as the week moves on. The biggest information that I can give you right now is that as of yesterday, Duke Energy is hoping to have their portions of the power grid turned on and ready by Friday afternoon for the majority of the upstate. That was an update that we got yesterday. Duke is hoping to have their portions of the grid reinstated by Friday afternoon. They obviously could run into unforeseen problems. I basically got told yesterday that the biggest problem that is being experienced right now is that a lot of the places that the lines are down, they have to wait for the properties to be cleared, right? They got to wait for tree trunks to get cut up and moved out and branches to be out of the way and streets to be opened up. The biggest issue they're having right now primarily is that they just can't get to where they need to get to in order to turn the power on. So there's a lot of waiting for the line crews as well. But we're keeping an eye on this for you, the absolute best that we can. If you have any information you think the people of the upstate would like to know, text it to us, 71307. Start your text with FAN. We'll do what we can to keep you updated. Let's take a break. We're back after this. Rob Lonzo and you on the Rob Brown Show and the FAN Upstate.
You see.
All right, guys, quick reading. We're back. Stay right there for me. It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing this around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around. What is up, friends? It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing this around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around. What is up, friends? It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing this around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around. The Rob Brown Show carries on. It's the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rob, the Great Malonzo, and you. We talked about a pair of teams in the National Football League that may have to make a move. Tua Tagovailoa is out for the at least next 2 weeks. He set out one game so far. He'll be out the next 3 weeks as he's on the IL after his concussion. And then there's the Kansas City Chiefs. Rashee Rice is now out for the season with a busted wheel. He joins Hollywood Brown, the wide receiver core for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I think qualifies to be referred to as decimated, unfortunately, which leaves Patrick Mahomes effectively with Travis Kelce to work with. And the names of big-time pass catchers, not really anybody else.
Yeah, well, Sky Moore's been there for a while. He can do it. They've got some other receivers, and I've heard this before. Oh, my gosh, they have nobody to throw the ball to, and still they won the Super Bowl. I mean, I just, until I see them lose, which they haven't done yet, and lose in a fashion where they get beat because they have no one to throw the ball to, I'm not that concerned. Should they make some moves? Why not? Yes.
Let's they are undefeated. Let's ask the question. Are the Kansas City Chiefs worse today than they were yesterday before we knew Rashee Rice was out for good?
Yes.
Yes, of course. So, knowing that that's the case, knowing that, as you said in the last segment, the odds are definitely not ever in your favor. Shout out Katniss. What up? I think Kansas City is a team that needs to make a move. I also think the Miami Dolphins are a team that need to make a move if those teams wish to remain front runners for their respective conferences and their respective conference championships moving forward. So, why do I bring this up? Who the hell cares about the Dolphins and the Chiefs? Well, I'm going to tell you why.
Well, a lot of the listening audience care about both teams.
Here is why, because both of those teams could end up as potential trade partners for the Carolina Panthers.
I also want it to be noted how disrespectful what you said was.
Nothing I said was disrespectful. Saying that the Chiefs are
saying that no one cares about them. You said no one cares about the Chiefs, or that's disrespectful.
Our listening audience does not have a major demographic. I'm not saying there's none, but it's not a major demographic of Chiefs and Dolphins. If we came in here and talked Chiefs and Dolphins for an hour, we would get a come to the principal's office text over the PA. That just is what it is. That's okay.
Probably-
It's the same
probably
with
not.
my Saints.
I disagree.
All that being said, the discussions have been ongoing about who, if anybody, these teams should target. And there are some names out there. One of them comes off, although they did win last night, the Tennessee Titans, that DeAndre Hopkins. 2 catches, 31 yards last night for the Tennessee Titans. Now, in fairness, Will Levis left after only 4 passes. Mason Rudolph stepped in as his backup. It wasn't exactly like dude had anybody throwing him the ball. But D-Hop, so far in this season, has had 1 game over 31 yards. He had 8 yards in game 1. He had 9 yards in game 2, 73 and a touch in game 3, 4 catches for 31 yards, 4 targets, 2 catches, 31 yards in game 4. Things are not going for Nuke and the Titans the way that they hoped that they would when they brought him there. So D-Hop's on the table. But Adam Schefter told Pat McAfee yesterday, there's another couple of names that are on the table.
The Titans are playing tonight. They've struggled so far. If they continue to struggle, to me, that would make sense that you would look to move a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. Adam Thielen, Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson's in the last year of his contract. He's going to be leaving Carolina after this year anyway. If they lose a few more games, why would you not be open to the idea of moving him if you got the right offer before the deadline? And I think the same would be true of Adam Thielen, a veteran who you probably would want to do right by. If you're 1-6 at the trade deadline, if you're 2-7, whatever it may be.
So Shefty is saying, hey, if at the trade deadline the Panthers are saying we suck, then Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen may very well be on the block. And
Thielen's hurt, though. I mean, is he expected to recover in a way that will make him good for a trade?
I will tell you, if he has got any promise to play at the end of the year at all, he is instantly worth the trade for you.
Out of those two, I think Deontay Johnson would be the better fit for Kansas City.
I don't disagree. I already think, if anything, you've already got your slot guy. His name is Xavier Worthy, and he's a bro. But he is, by definition, in the way he plays, and again, he's excellent at footballing. This is not taken away. The kid can ball for sure. He's, by definition, at the best, a wide receiver. I have him in the slot as a Z because of the utilitarianism of having him lined up with speed and the ability to motion him all over the field out of the slot. You've already got a slot receiver. Would I still add Adam Thielen? Yeah, I'll move Xavier Worthy to the Y. I'll move him to the 2 spot. I'll move him out wide, put him up on the line, and still do all I can to work him into these different spots, utilizing motion, et cetera, et cetera. But you got Justin Watson trotting out there. Yeah, Adam Thielen's a trade target. I do agree. Deontay Johnson is a bona fide 2. All right? Like part of the reason I think it took a little while, aside from the fact that Bryce Young just is not a developed quarterback, whether you blame him or you blame the Panthers or, like me, you put a little bit of the blame on both. He's not a developed quarterback. But one of the things I think, one of the reasons I think it took a hot minute for the passing game for Carolina to find any sort of traction is because of what we talked about how many times. Adam Thielen was a 1 last year. He's a 3 this year. Xavier Legette was not on the team last year. He's a rookie. Now he's the 3. Deontay Johnson has been effectively, though he has played a good bit of X wide receiver, he has career played a number 2 wide receiver. Now he has been moved up to number 1. Putting Deontay at a 2 spot, I think, is a great move. And in Kansas City, you could do exactly that. Now, you don't have Rashee Rice. You're going to have Xavier Worthy, Juju Smith-Schuster, Sky Moore, Mecole Hardman, and Justin Watson. So I think
Watson had a really good catch. Mecole Hardman won the Super Bowl last year. I mean, it's not like you have nothing.
It's not like you have nothing. I'm not even going to sit here and pretend you have one of the top 18 wide receiver units in the NFL right now. You don't.
Did they last year?
It was better last year than it is today this year.
But
year.
Did they last year?
No, but again,
they
listen,
did not.
I respect your blind, relentless optimism that everything's going to be okay.
Listen, I think I'm asking legitimate questions, and thank you for answering them. They did not last year either. They don't. I mean, outside of Kelsey, and when the Cheetah was there, that's been it as far as receivers go.
I mean, again, I would say in the playoffs last year, you had Rashee Rice, right? Like, that's the conversation right now. That dude, and in fairness, he didn't come on until late in the season last year. But when Rashee Rice came on, you have Rashee Rice. Now, I don't have Rashee Rice. When you added Hollywood Brown, even though I as I've said a number of times, I think the dude is got a case of the dropitis. But when he's catching the football consistently, Hollywood Brown paired with Rashee Rice was going to make you one of the most, I would argue, dominant wide receiver cores in the NFL. Now
Has he played it down this year? Has Hollywood? I get what you're saying. I do. But I don't believe any of that stuff. Because as long as Patrick Mahomes is healthy, they've got a chance to win.
No one's saying you don't. What you're saying is when you lose Hollywood Brown, I don't care if he never played it down. Without him, your offense is worse than it would be with him. We are talking potential here.
Okay, why are we talking potential when we can talk about what they have on the field and what they've been able to do so far?
What they have on the field,
undefeated.
What they have on the field with the law, yes, undefeated. You are without a doubt correct. They are empirically undefeated. Sure. They are empirically undefeated with a 1-score win over the Ravens that legit Baltimore should have won that game. All right. With a 1-point win over the Cincinnati Bengals, who have one win over the Carolina Panthers, with a 5-point win on the road over the Atlanta Falcons.
Dude, listen, you can get all mad about this, but as far as this goes, that's what Kansas City does. They don't beat anybody by 2 touchdowns. They don't do that. They've never done that.
The best
so
team.
This is how they win. Whoever has the ball on the last drive wins the game.
Okay, here's what
That's
I hope.
how it works.
Here's what I hope. I hope they don't do a damn thing. I right now in this moment, I hope they don't do a damn thing. And let's test that theory. Like, I'm good with that. But you've got on the other side, you've got we suck now, but wait. You've got the Saints. We suck. Then you got the 49ers. You got Tampa waiting in the wing. Tampa Baker waiting in the wings. You got Buffalo down there. You got, actually, your schedule's kind of easy the rest of the way. I'm not going to lie. It's a pretty simple schedule the rest of the ride. But the point is, your meat and potatoes is coming up.
There's some hard games in there. Tampa Bay is not going to be easy at all, and it's never easy playing Buffalo. So, I mean, and the Saints.
You know what you sound like? You know what I just realized you sound like? You sound like the Bills fans that make you hate Josh Allen. That's what you sound like right now. Oh, if Mahomes wakes up, we're going to win. We got to win. We got a chance. All right, that's all Buffalo fans say about Josh Allen, and you get furious about it.
I do believe that I put facts out there. I do believe I did. And so I'm not being unrealistic. I'm only going on recent history and what they've been able to do with what little they have had.
What little you have had is more than you have right now. That's my point. You've won all these games close. I'm not disagreeing. But I'm saying is you've won all these games with more talent that even in your down years, you have had dramatically more talent than you have right now.
Okay. But, I mean, Rashee Rice goes down, but you got Xavier Worthy through the draft. I mean, you trade one for the other.
And that's it. Mecole Hardman, is that the guy we're leaning on?
Won Super Bowl last year.
No, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year.
The last I checked, he caught the ball that won the Super Bowl. If he wasn't on the team, he couldn't do that. And they brought him in late after he was with another team doing nothing, brought him back to the team, and he ends up winning the Super Bowl. Chances are they're going to bring in somebody who was with the Chiefs already, went somewhere else, and you're going to go, why would they bring that guy in when they could have this guy?
Who's that guy?
It's Valdez-Scantling, I think, went somewhere like to the Jets or somewhere. They'll bring someone like that back.
I mean, I don't know who's on that list that makes you better.
If you know this, it could just be the system. You know, Andy Reid's pretty good pretty good
Listen,
coach.
nobody's arguing with any of that. I agree. There is probably not a coach in the league right now that knows how to get more out of less than Andy Reid. There's just, and now I will also say this. I do wonder if there's not that Belichickian factor of, yeah, it's really easy to do when Patrick Mahomes is your quarterback. All right. Hoodie, you saw pretty quickly when Brady left New England, Hoodie's offense all of a sudden didn't look like the juggernaut it did for 20 years.
I love how you suddenly are hating on the Chiefs. Like
I'm
people
not,
hated on the pit. Yeah, you're
no.
making that turn, dude.
No.
You are.
Let's be real clear.
Oh, it's just me. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Right now in this moment, it's just you because the arrogance that you have about your team right now is infuriating.
By the way, I'm not being arrogant. I'm being calm.
You're like,
I mean,
we're fine.
No.
We've lost our top 2 wide receivers. We're down to 1 rookie. We're great. We're still going to win.
Whoever has the ball on the final drive is going to win, whether it's Kansas City or the other team. It's been like that. It's
been like that because you've had Rashee Rice.
I used to get upset, but there's no sense of getting emotional. You can't with this team because they're not going to blow anybody out. They're going to barely win every time. If you're going to be emotional about it, you might as well move on to another team because they're not going to do the things that you would like them to do. They're just not.
Again, I agree. And that's all fair about that team. With Rashee Rice, you just lost your best pass catcher. He's gone.
Who you just mentioned.
How do you think you don't go backwards?
Didn't come on till the end of the season.
Right.
Somebody else will do that this season.
We're going to find out. I will say this. You're probably still going to beat the Saints this weekend. We suck. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate.
You're like.
All right, guys, quick reading. We're back. Stay right there for me, please. And thank you. It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing us around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this. and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around. What is All right, y'all, we're back. Thanks for hanging in there. I don't know where I'm going, but I sure know where I've been. Hanging on the promises and the songs of yesterday.
Having some wrestling withdrawals because I haven't been able to watch wrestling.
I haven't watched anything in 2 weeks. I have no idea what's going on anything.
Well, good. You'll be ready Thursday when we pick Bad Blood.
Crap, now I gotta watch 10 wrestling shows.
Do you? Because I'm not gonna get to watch it.
3 days.
Unless I've downloaded so many apps trying to find football and everything else, and couldn't get the Chiefs game because I couldn't get CBS for some reason, but I got Red Zone. So
$71307 is the text line. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. And in case you missed it yesterday, got a fun new little feature for you. Here's what I want you to do. Grab the Odyssey app, A-U-D-A-C-Y. If you don't have it yet, go get it right now, A-U-D-A-C-Y. Put it on your cell phone or your tablet or whatever you use. And once you do, go heart the Fan Upstate. When you do, it's going to bring you to the Fan Upstate's page. When you go to the Fan Upstate's page, you're going to see right there in the middle of the page 2 buttons. One's a big orange one that says Listen Live. Push that button, listen live. Anytime, day or night, rain or shine. If you've got a cell phone, a speaker, and service of any type, you can listen to the station at your discretion on the Odyssey app. But number 2, there's a little microphone button. You push that little microphone button, and it is going to allow you to record a 60-second voice message that will be sent directly to yours truly. It is that simple. All you got to do is log on to the Odyssey app, go to the main page, click on the microphone button, and leave a 60-second message. When you're done, it's going to send it directly to me. And that feature is available to you 24/7, 365 days a year. You can send me that message during the show in the AM. You can send it to me with your thoughts on your lunch break, or you can get plastered at night and send me your thoughts after a liquor bender at 3:30 a.m. And I don't care. All right. I want you to have fun with this. I want you to make it awkward. I want you to make it uncomfortable. I want you to make it funny, or I want you to give me your deep philosophy thoughts.
What if they
on life.
just want to call in and say, hey, we enjoy the show and, go some team or something?
Solo show and go Buckeyes. Thanks, Lonzo and Rob.
and Rob. Thanks, Michael in Greenville, who sent us our first voice memo yesterday on the new Odyssey app.
That's a nice eye roll. Now you know how I feel every day, especially last segment.
Mike in Greenville sent that to us yesterday, and we appreciate it. Now you can join the ranks. Go to the Odyssey app, go to the Fan Upstates page on the Odyssey app, click that little microphone icon, and drop a 60-second voicemail that will come straight to me, available to you 24/7, 365 on the Odyssey app. Now, let's get back to the conversation we were just having a second ago. It turned into a conversation about the Chiefs, which is more than fair. Lonzo, noted Chiefs guy.
Nuh-uh.
Let's talk about it from the Panthers' perspective. There are two teams that we talked about, the Miami Dolphins, who started Huntley last night, and he was not good. And then there's obviously the Kansas City Chiefs, who, sans Rashee Rice, not saying will, could be in the market for a wide receiver. If you missed the clip, Adam Schefter said there are two in Carolina that might be considered.
The Titans are playing tonight. They've struggled so far. If they continue to struggle, to me, that would make sense that you would look to move a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. Adam Thielen, Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson's in the last year of his contract. He's going to be leaving Carolina after this year anyway. If they lose a few more games, why would you not be open to the idea of moving him if you got the right offer before the deadline? And I think the same would be true of Adam Thielen, a veteran who you probably would want to do right by. If you're 1-6 at the trade deadline, if you're 2-7, whatever it may be.
I agree. So, Texas said, high potential. Said the Panthers trade Johnson. For what? How desperate are the Chiefs, right? This is a spot to me, and again, how desperate are the Chiefs? But this is a spot to me where if the Chiefs go, we got to go get a guy, sans Rashee and Hollywood Brown, we don't feel like we have provided enough weapons, even to the great Patrick Mahomes. We can't, there's just not enough talent there. Well, if they are desperate, I don't think there is a ton of dudes out there. I don't think there's a ton of dudes out there that are on the block in a spot like this. I think there's a few, but there are very few that I think are in the caliber of wide receiver that the Chiefs go, that guy can at least cut, I don't know, significantly into the damage that Rashee Rice was capable of doing. Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen are two of those cats. So the question is, how desperate are the Kansas City Chiefs, and how much are they willing to come off of in a quest for a three-peat? You've got not just the fact they need a guy, but they also, they all said it after last year. They want to be the first team to three-peat. It is an objective for them. I haven't necessarily heard them talking a ton about it so far this season, but I can't imagine that just all of the sudden this team doesn't have three-peat written down on one of those motivational posters in the locker room. If they are desperate to replace the yardage and the tutties they lose in Rashee Rice and three-peat, because if they don't do it this year, if they want a three-peat, it's 3 years down the road to try that again, right? And you got to win 2 in the process to do it. If they are desperate and the three-peat is a legitimate goal of theirs, they might be willing to come off a pretty hefty haul. So the question is, do you disrupt Carolina in order to send out a wide receiver? Because what you've got to look at is, sure, you got the red rifle out there playing right now in Andy Dalton. But part of the reason you're doing that is, if you are sticking with Bryce Young, this is time for BY to sit back. There's no pressure on the guy. There's no expectations of him. Sit back, learn, gain confidence, game poise, whatever. Get all this down. And if you send out Deontay or Adam Thielen or both, right? Effectively, you have created a world where Xavier Legette is your number one. And we love X. We're big fans of X. I hope that Xavier Legette is going to be a dude that is going to be an all-star forever.
That'll be great, man.
But he's not at a spot.
He needs a lot of work, though. You saw that Sunday.
Needs a lot of work. He's not a guy I'm going, okay, you're the number one. You're the X right now. So basically what you are trading for me, and maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not. It depends on how desperate Kansas City is. What you are trading is any sort of stability that allows for development of Bryce Young any further this year. You will not be able to develop Bryce Young if Xavier Legette and John Mingo are your 1 and 2. So what's the trade worth? If Kansas City calls you and they go, we're so hungry, we're going to give you a 1 for Deontay Johnson. You take that pick. You take that trade. If they call you and go, we're going to give you a 4, I'm up in the air about it. If they call you and go, we'll give you a 6th and a 7th, I'm out because I cannot do anything. I can't develop him any further unless you've completely given up on Bryce Young, in which case you send Bryce Young to Miami and you send Deontay or Adam Thielen to Kansas City and you go, we're not doing anything this year. We're not doing anything this year. We're just going to be bad. We're going to go get the number 1 overall draft pick. We're going to allow this to be a year where Dave Canales learns how to be a coach with no pressure and expectations on him. You go ahead, you push the red, blow it all up button for 2024, assuming you're going to have the number 1 pick next year, even if it is a crap quarterback class. So that's my thought. If you are going to keep BY around, and you really want to develop him, you make Kansas City give you a move, or else you don't send him. That's the way it breaks down to me. We'll talk more about this coming up later on in the show, but before we get there, Texter says, I'm glad we call Andy Dalton the Red Rifle, not the Red Rocket.
See?
Do we?
See?
Do we? Ladies and gentlemen, the Andy Dalton of sports flashes, Lonzo.
It's not true. I don't have red hair, and I do have a soul. Jared Goff recorded NFL history last night in a 42-29 Detroit Lions win over the Seattle Seahawks. Goff threw a perfect game, going 18 of 18 for 292 yards and 2 touchdowns. Goff's perfect performance shatters the previous record of most passes without an incompletion, set at 10 by Kurt Warner with Arizona against Houston in 2005. Goff also caught his receiving touchdown on the famed Philly special from wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, which helped the Lions become the first team with 100% completion percentage in a game with multiple players throwing a pass since 1933. The Miami Dolphins entered the season as an AFC favorite to make a Super Bowl run and exit Week 4 at 1-3 after a 31-12 loss to the Tennessee Titans last night, despite Titans quarterbacks Will Levis leaving after just 4 passes with a shoulder injury. Hey, make sure you tune in this Saturday at 12:30 for the Furman Paladins as they take on the Citadel Bulldogs. All right, give it up. I can only do one story. Stories are too long. Too long. Only got a minute, people. That's it. Just a minute. I mean, Wesley, I don't know for sure because I know every guy on the roster kind of guy. But I don't recall there being a Clemson guy on the team the last 2 years that they've won in a row, or the other time they won the Super Bowl, or any time they've won the Super Bowl. And as far as that goes, I don't care what school you're from when you go to the NFL. All that stuff goes away. You're on my team, I'm rooting for you. If I can root for Elvis Grbac, who was a quarterback for the Michigan Wolverines, I can root for just about anybody. I guess I'm just not a fan by the definition of some because I'm not losing my mind over stuff. I mean,
To walk along the lonely street of dreams. Bow, 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 bow.
I am looking right now just to see. Okay, Justin Ross is on the team.
Yes.
So there is a Clemson player on the team. You know what? I kind of knew he played for Clemson. And you know what, Wesley? I don't care. So what? I hope Justin Ross steps up and takes the place of Rashee Rice. I know it's inconceivable by some, but when they go to the NFL, they're on my team.
Dear John Fisher. Dear John Fisher. Dear John Fisher.
Just wanted to circle back with a few thoughts.
First of all, congratulations. You bought one of baseball's most storied franchises with your parents' money.
Drove it straight into the ground.
And then, when you couldn't extract anything more from Oakland,
You moved the team to Vegas.
Vegas/Sacramento.
Your mistreatment of our city and this fan base has been so complete that it's almost impressive. You gutted the payroll to the point where it took a miracle to be in contention.
You let the Coliseum languish until we had possums living in the broadcast booth.
You never showed your face in it. We're not even sure you can name a single player.
And yet, through it all, we the fans stay loyal.
Because the town loves baseball, and we love this team.
it's given us 3 straight championships in the 70s and the Bay Bridge World Series in '89.
Ricky Steele III.
And the Moneyball 20-game win streak. Giambi.
Tejada.
Big Mac. Terrence Long.
Dan Johnson.
The truth is, you never wanted a stadium in Oakland. Maybe they'll pay for your ballpark in the desert. But maybe they won't.
That would be poetic.
No matter what happens, we know this to be true.
You will go down as the worst owner in the history of professional sports. So peace out.
Deuces.
Good riddance.
See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.
Say hi to Doris for us.
I hate you.
The Oakland faithful.
We hate you. I don't want to laugh because it's a really sad story, but we hate you is a hilarious way
The
to
person
sign
saying
off.
deuces really bothered me
Deuces. Why?
because obviously they're reading, so it's not coming from their heart because they would never say that word because you can't say it without having a little street behind it.
Deuces.
Exactly.
Hey, Big Daddy, how you doing?
Real damn good, Corey LaJoy. Thank you for asking. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. How do you do, Upstate South Carolina? Good morning, America. What up, world? Are we going to have a bad day?
No, not today.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
So are you rubbing your nose just because, or do I have
No, it
something on
actually
mine?
itched.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I thought maybe you're doing a cool.
Remember earlier when I panicked and I had to have you stop talking because that
No, you
sneeze
had me
was just
start
right
talking
there. Well, that's what I
because
meant.
we-
Start
yeah.
talking because I'm having that kind of day. Hey,
That's what happens when there's no airflow in your house because
Oh,
you have no electricity.
no electricity. Hey, it's 8:00 in the morning. You know what that means? It's time for the audio blitz. Pew, pew, pew.
So you're saying you want me to make that sound bite, or you want to make that?
No,
that
I need to
whole
make it.
thing?
I actually meant to do it yesterday,
Okay.
but then
All right.
I was tired and I didn't. And I had to go home and start a generator. I make sure
At
the
least you have a
fans-
generator.
That's true. You got to get a generator, bud. Like you just got to
Okay.
get a generator. It's a game changer. Absolute game changer.
And how many times would I have needed that generator?
Right now, 5 in a row.
Yeah, probably.
5 consecutive.
Probably, but you also got to pay to have someone come set it up. There's just a lot of things.
No.
From what I understand,
No.
you got to have an electrician to set it up.
No. You get a generator that it's a plug. You just plug stuff into it. I'm not talking about like a whole ass house generator.
Okay,
I ain't that rich.
Okay.
I mean, I'm
'cause
talent, but I ain't that rich.
you're implying that's the only kind of generator that I know about.
No, they make little portable generators. That's what we were running outside the house. The one I run outside the house, I pick it up and move it when I need it. Like they're the size of
And how much does it power?
Let's see. TV, DVD player, both of our cell phones, a fan, a lamp, like at least the room's comfortable.
Okay, so you're not suffering like some of us are, but
Right.
I mean, good for you. But
Get your damn generator.
How does it? Where does the power come from, and how does it keep it?
The power comes from putting gasoline into it, and it's an internal combustion engine. That
Yeah, but
instead
do
of
you bring
make-
it in the house? You mean it sound
No,
like
you leave it outside and you run cords in.
Okay, because that's
Yeah.
all right. Okay, I'm getting an understanding.
We're gonna get you there. I'm gonna make sure we get you there.
I'm probably not still gonna buy one. Just I need to.
I'll tell you right now. Not only do I advise it, I'm probably gonna trade in the one we got and get a bigger one. Like they're the best. All right. Let's see. Texter says, good morning, fellas. Congratulations, Rob, sitting in the car listening to my favorite host, hosting my favorite show on the radio. So far, it's a good day. Still no power in Cowpens, but 221 at 85 has power, so maybe soon. That's from Spartanburg. Jay, first off, thank you, buddy. Good morning. Great to have you. Appreciate it. Glad you're here. Second off, yeah, that sucks. We don't have power either. It's the worst. It's the worst. But we are attacking life with a grateful spirit because it could have been dramatically worse for all of us. Almost was.
I don't know. You seem a little cranky.
Almost was.
I'm just saying, just a little bit cranky.
No, I'm really not. I had a conversation with Keegan last night. Went over last night. He officiated our wedding, so I had to go get him to sign the paperwork to send it in because we're not technically officially legally married yet. But whatever, that's stupid. We are. But we had this whole conversation. I said, you know what? Like, it's okay to be cranky because the power's out. It's okay to be cranky because there's no air. It's okay to be cranky. I think as long as you still have the ability to put those issues into perspective. And I think so. I think I do. So far I do. All right.
So you're saying that whole thing would have happened whether we had power or not?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. All right.
For sure. Yeah. I'm just
gonna pack that away.
Just a bad person. What do you want? All right. Let's get to some audio from the past couple of days. Let's start with the couple that I don't think are going to generate super long conversations. Let's start with Scoot Henderson. Yesterday was NBA Media Days taking place around the country as the NBA is now less than a month away. By the way, hockey, 7 days we get the season started. NBA shortly after that. But a couple of hilarious sounds out of Trailblazers Media Day. We start with DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre came in. He was gassed. He was juiced. He had the aura. And he was asked, how? Why, DeAndre, are you so jazzed up?
You easily came in here with the most energy of any person who stepped up to the podium yet.
You know what I'm saying? That's dominating. So we say what it is.
Yeah, I mean, what makes you have that energy
you gotta
today?
be on juices, go to bed early, the water. I was light on breakfast because I had physicals and stuff like that. But just being ready for the day. Like, this is our job. I have nothing to complain about. I'm happy to be here and just happy to work. I've been waiting all summer for you guys. That was the first time I've actually stopped playing basketball for so long. I'm like, man, the season ended pretty early for me, huh? And just having enough time to be with family and things like that. So I'm fortunate. So yeah, I was waiting to see y'all.
What kind of juices are you drinking?
All type of stuff the chef got me drinking, man. Beet juice. I've seen some orange juice with ginger in it. All the cleansing stuff. Like, yeah, I'm getting used to that stuff.
There you have it, kids. You want to be an NBA ball player, orange juice with ginger in it.
Yeah, but I'm more keying in on the beet juice. I mean,
I've heard it's very good for you.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like it tastes good.
No, it doesn't.
The orange with ginger, that's intriguing. That really is.
The older you get,
is it pulp or no pulp with the orange?
I hate pulp in my orange juice.
Yeah, because you
I
find
hate
some
it.
later.
Yeah, man. It's just like the I don't. It's not a smoothie. It's juice. If I want to eat an orange, I'll eat an orange.
A beet looks like something that you can't get juice out of.
I don't like beets at all. There's an evolutionary reason why it is that we prefer sugary foods, sweet foods, and it's because obviously back in the day, calories mattered. Sugars are calories, and so we evolved over time to prefer sugary foods because sugary foods gave you the most calories, and those calories could be expended. But now that we're all not running from saber-toothed tigers and whatnot, we still have that evolutionary preference for sugary foods, even though they're not good for you, which is unfortunate. I will say this. I've done the orange juice and ginger thing. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. It'll give you a little boost.
Yeah, but what's it taste like? Is it a little more sweet, or does it take away from the sweet?
No, I mean it's like orange juice that has ginger in it. I don't really know how to describe
ginger ale
it.
is bitter. So does it make the
Do you like
orange
ginger
juice?
ale? I love ginger ale.
No.
I love ginger ale, but I also know I think I'm in the minority. I love ginger ale.
I tried to shotgun ginger ale once as a dare. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
It came out my nose. It burned for days.
Okay. Well, you deserve that. I don't know what to help you with that. DeAndre Ayton wasn't the only one. Scoot Henderson, the rookie, was there. Now, this audio's terrible, and I tried to find a better version of it, and I couldn't, and it's still good enough to play. Hey, Scoot, what'd you learn your rookie year?
Scoot, now that you have a couple months of distance from it, kind of what do you look back on about your rookie season, kind of what you learned from it?
I look back at the food, the good food that I had. Yeah, a lot of food. And then, what I learned from it. You know what I'm saying? Just all the.
I think I'm going to go on the record and say, Scoot, no, we do not know what you're saying.
Okay, well, because we couldn't hear him, it sounded like he's being attacked by a swarm of cicadas. That was scary.
What happened in that spot was that a media member said, hey, Scoot Henderson, now that you've got your rookie year under your belt, what did you learn from it? What did you take away from your rookie year in the NBA? And Scoot's answer was the food, all the good food, and everything that I learned from it.
I think that's a really good answer because it's basically the same answer as the first clip that you played, but he just wasn't very specific. I mean, if you'd have threw ginger in there, we'd be good, right?
Do like some ginger. All right. Do like ginger.
Talking to people is hard. Okay. Not everyone can do it.
What lessons did you take away from your rookie year? I like food. I mean, me too, but that's not what we were going for here, Scoot.
He finally has a chef and some things like that. And, he's eating right, or maybe he's not. Maybe he got a bunch of Twinkies. The food was good. That's all that matters.
Out at Lakers Media Day, LeBron and Bronny had their first media appearance as teammates.
Just had a moment at practice that was well documented last week. We heard your take on it, where you said great defense, but better offense. Can we get your vantage point? What you thought about that?
All right. In all seriousness,
Please.
I looked at the film and he did step out of bounds, but I'm not gonna go there.
No, you can go there.
I'm not gonna go there right now.
That's a big part of it.
But
What do you mean you're not gonna go there right now? You just went there.
I mean, I definitely did. I definitely did. But
I stepped out of bounds.
He stepped out of bounds.
They don't even have that
I gotta
camera
stop.
angle of the baseline like that.
All I know is I gotta stop.
Tell them about the stop I got on you when you dribbled out of bounds, though.
Now that was a foul too. He slapped my whole arm, and we see.
Did they call it?
No.
Did the ref call it?
I mean,
If
I'm
they
not gonna
didn't-
get
the
that
whistle
call right
didn't
now.
blow,
I'm
there
not gonna
wasn't
get
no
that call
foul.
right now. I'm playing against.
Yeah, you're a rookie
guy
anyway.
on his- Exactly.
Yeah. This.
So I'm gonna say this.
Are you sickened by
No.
the love?
No. Quite the opposite. I'm gonna say this. I don't care how you feel about LeBron as a player or as a person. I don't care if you do or do not think Bronny James has any justification for being a Laker. He doesn't. I don't even think he's good enough to be an NBA player yet. I'm not saying he can't be. I don't think he's developed yet. I don't care how you feel about either one of these guys as players or persons. I'm so happy for LeBron. I really am. I can't imagine. I would give back everything I have ever owned and accomplished in this world to go shoot basketball with my dad one more time. Right? Like I lost my father when I was 25 years old, and it is arguably the most monumental moment of my life was losing my father. I would give everything I have ever owned and accomplished back for 10 minutes to go shoot free throws with my dad again, right? So I can't imagine what it's like for Bronny to be on a team on the NBA team with his old man And I can't imagine, knowing how I hope proud my dad was of me and is of me, I can't imagine what it's like for Bron to have Bronny on this team and to be able to share moments like this where they are just goofing off and having a good time. I put every criticism that we have about LeBron, the player, about LeBron, the person, about Bronny, the player, aside. I'm ecstatic for these two dudes. I don't care if the Lakers went through a bunch of unethical bullcrap to get Bronny on this team. Just as a dude, as a bro, as a dude bro, I'm jacked for LeBron because he is loving this. And as a dude bro, I think that's awesome.
See, so am I. I didn't know my dad, but you know what I've been able to do? I've been able to share a little bit of this with my son. And it's every once in a while I look over and go, this is really cool. It really is. I've been able to give him something he never would have been able to get otherwise, a chance to be on the air and be a little goofy. And that's what we're doing. We're goofing off like what they're doing. And it's irreplaceable. It really is. And I'm so happy he gets to do that.
Yeah.
I also hope that Bronny proves everybody wrong.
I mean, I'd be lying to say I'm not pulling for the kid a little bit. I've watched him play. He's just not there. All right. I watch G League games. I watch Summer League games to watch Bronny play. He's just not there. JC Horn after the Panthers game this weekend.
It's a different vibe for sure. I mean, like, since I've been here, there's probably like the game just feel totally different. And we know we getting better as a team. You know, even though we lost this game, we came out, feeling like we got better as a team. And we just looking forward to getting back to it next week.
You know why it feels different for him? He's actually been on the field for 4 games. Stay healthy, JC.
I mean, yeah. There's definitely a different vibe about that. Ain't no doubt about it. But I would say this. Totally agree with him. Totally agree with just watching this team. Even in a loss Sunday, just watching this team, there's a different vibe about it. There's a different energy about it. There's a different juice around it. And again, I know a lot of people want to run and place all of it at the feet of Bryce Young, and that's fine if you want to do it. I disagree with you, and we can have the conversation.
It's the rifle, man. He just brings excitement. He just brings joy. And even if
touchdowns do that.
Well, they do. You're right. You're right. Winning and then the possibility of winning also will do that because they were in that game for a long time.
Sure.
Sunday.
Also, the Bengals aren't that good.
Well, that's true. But
yeah,
I mean, they're working their way back into it.
Yeah.
Because Joe Burrow has a problem with slow starts.
Damian Woody, Teddy Bruschi, and noted New York Jets fan Mike Greenberg were on Get Up yesterday having a conversation about if you missed it, Tom Brady kind of burned Baker Mayfield on the air.
No, he didn't. He did not.
He kind of burned him on the air.
Petty and lame.
And even noted Tom Brady stan Rob Brown. My response was, shut up, Tom. Like, it worked for you, and it's great it worked for you, but, like, there's only one of you, all right? Baker Mayfield's having fun. Let my man have fun. Well, Damian Woody, who was a teammate of Tom Brady's during his time in New England, was on that show alongside noted Jets fan Mike Greenberg when Teddy Bruschi decided he was going to fire a few shots.
It almost brings back nightmares, like nightmares being in those meetings and you had your notebook right there because you were afraid Bill's going to call on you and all those type of things. But I think the thing that stood out to me the most during my time in New England, and Teddy knows this, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's what Tom was referencing. It's like, bro, like if you want to be comfortable and all that stuff, all that type of stuff, cool. You like play for the Jets. Hey, there's different ways to be serious about a game.
Teddy Bruschi was very happy with his joke. Very happy with his joke.
It wasn't that good of a joke either. It was.
Go play for the Jets.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not a good joke.
You know why it's not a good joke? Because they're not comfortable right now.
They're not.
They're not.
It's not a good joke, except if you're sitting next to Greenberg. Then it's a good joke. Oh, and Coach Foote.
Yeah, well, isn't Greenberg an easy target, though? I mean, think about it.
Jets fans are easy targets as a whole.
I mean, Greenberg has done a lot. He's an amazing career. But if he's sitting over there, me and you would have so much fun, and he would hate us.
Jets fans are easy targets. Just as a whole, Greenberg just happens to be the most prominent amongst them. Good on Teddy Bruschi for not letting Greenberg have a moment to himself. Like, at all. That's incredible. Love that. Love that.
You're a mean person, Teddy.
Matt Ryan asked by Bill Cowher, hey, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets don't seem good right now. Matt Ryan, not Ryan, what would you say if you were Aaron Rodgers?
You've been to Pro Bowls. You've been player of the year, just like Aaron Rodgers. What is your message to the New York Jets receiving crew as they go in there on Monday tomorrow?
Listen, you need to get on my page. Not your page. You need to get on my page. All right. We saw the clip of Aaron Rodgers. You were sitting right next to me, the body language. There was a chance late in that game where he's expecting Garrett Wilson to bend up the seam, too high look to kind of bend that thing in towards the hash. He's expecting him to be there. His frustration after the hands go to the helmet. You can see clear as day where the camera was right on his eyes. They're not on the same page, right? I expect you to be at a certain spot at a certain time. Forget all the rest. Yeah. That's what I need.
I forgot to take the TikTok sound off the end. That's my bad.
Is that what that was?
That's my bad.
I've never been on the TikTok before.
My bad.
So now I know.
Well,
what
I'm a
that
millennial
sounds like.
influencer, so, you know.
You are.
Yeah,
you really
I'm
are.
on the TikToks. Are we good with that? Does Aaron Rodgers earn that? Not in his career, and his career he certainly has, but with the Jets. Has Aaron Rodgers, as a Jets, has Aaron Rodgers earned enough that he can walk into the locker room and tell everybody else, you get on my page? This isn't a me problem, it's a you problem.
Would you be asking this question if it was Tom Brady? Because Tom Brady did the same thing when he went to Tampa Bay. And there are certain quarterbacks who have earned that. And yeah, I mean, other ones will do it a different way, maybe a nicer way. But he's right. And Garrett Wilson has the potential to be a really, really good receiver, maybe a great receiver. He was good at Ohio State. He needs to get on the same page, and maybe he's being extra hard on him because he knows the potential. And definitely. And they lost by 1 point, and they should not have lost by to Denver.
I mean, I'm not saying
it was
that's
a
fair
miss.
or unfair.
It was a missed kick, but still.
Not saying that's fair or unfair. Like I said, Rodgers has done enough in his career that's justified.
How many other quarterbacks in the league right now can do that? I mean, there aren't really.
Rodgers, Mahomes. You're not going to like it. Burrow and Allen.
Why wouldn't I like that? I mean, I get it.
Do you agree?
No, I do.
Okay.
I do. Josh Allen's proven me wrong this year because he has hardly any good receivers, and he's doing what
Hardly any?
Yeah, he's doing.
No, he has no good.
He's doing what Patrick Mahomes does.
Yeah.
He's stepping up. Now Burrow is. I think his injuries are bothering him a little bit more.
I think his injuries
than he
are bothering
says.
him, and I also think that you can say what you want. I think Jamar Chase screwed this team this offseason.
He did.
If I'm the Bengals, he's gone. I'm done with Jamar Chase. That what he did, this iteration of the Bengals is cooked. They're done. I would say Allen, Burrow, Lamar, Brock Purdy, in a weird way, is probably on that list.
But personality-wise, there's only a couple I think who would do it that way.
Who would do it's a different question.
Yes.
Rodgers is absolutely a guy. Rodgers is clearly and entirely out of to give. He's got no more.
As you and I
to
pointed
give.
out yesterday off the air, we were looking at him, and he's looking old.
Yeah.
No, I mean not old in his gameplay. Just
No, he looks old.
And the Jets are aging him.
You're not wrong. Also, him and Robert Salah are very clearly going to have a fist fight in the parking lot. And Salah minus 150?
Yeah, he's yeah.
I'm going Salah minus 150, Rodgers plus 125. That's the odds I'm giving you. Hey, when we come back here in a minute, have you heard the story? I'm sure you have at this point, but we didn't get to talk about the UNLV quarterback who's not playing despite the fact that his team's undefeated because he says that he was owed $100,000+ from the team, and the team says that's not true. We're going to talk about that because his former head coach has spoken out. Let's talk about that when we come back on the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate. Chris Miller, the Tom Brady speaking of the devil of local sports talk radio. Kudos to LeBron and Bronny as a dad. I can't think of any cooler experience than what the two of them are going through. Yeah, like I said, I don't particularly care how you fit. Chris, I'm going to be the bad guy here. I hate to do so in the face of maybe the nicest man in sports media. I don't care how anybody feels about LeBron as a person. The dude's one of the greatest basketball, if not the greatest basketball players of all time. But as a dude, I don't know how you can't feel happy for LeBron right now. Like, even if you can't stand him, I think you've got to recognize that as a dad, this dude is absolutely living his dream.
Aren't you a little worried about? Have you seen how LeBron treats teammates when they're doing poorly? Is he going to be extra hard on his son?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
but I would also
I feel a
argue,
little sorry for him.
You know
about
what
that.
you don't hear a lot of? Not never, but you don't hear a lot of former LeBron teammates come out and bash LeBron for being a jerk. You know what I mean? Like most of them are like, yeah, it's tough to play with him, but of course it is. He's the greatest.
When you come back, you need to fix your camera because it went all wonky when you. And we'll be right back because I got to do the same thing he does. I think he said he needs to think.
friends, it's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing us around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around. What is up, friends? It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing us around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around. What is up, friends? It's because I keep forgetting to turn it off after it loops. I need to put a video on the end of it so that it doesn't.
Oh, okay. So it just keeps playing over and over
loops,
again.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot to do that yesterday. I'm going to do that today. I need to stick it's basically I'm going to take one of the other videos and just put that into the middle of it.
There you go.
And one of the other things that I'm going to start doing is basically doing videos like that, but just of stuff.
Specific, you mean like this stuff, or just like a video of a pair?
Us out and about, whatever.
We don't do that.
I mean, I do.
Well, I mean, I meant for station functions.
That's different.
Yeah.
I'm always out and about, just not working.
I'm out and about at least once a week. Much more this week than usual. You're out and about, and my out and about are probably different.
Very different, for sure.
Out and about is very broad. And is it defined by each person? I don't know.
Do you put the emphasis on out or about?
Well, I'm going to go with out because I don't know what you're about when you're out. You could be about just going to
Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Could just be about going and getting some gas, which has been a chore for some lately. So new life in the next break. Look, fried chicken. I don't remember the last time I had Popeyes. It's not in a convenient place.
I love Yeah, I'm the same boat. It's 22 minutes from my house,
and it's
or else
also
I need it all the time.
It's spicy in a way that I can only handle so much. Not because I don't like spicy food, because I ate too much spicy food, and now my stomach goes, "You've reached your limit. No more." And still, every once in a while, I have to show it who's boss. It's my stomach. The stomach's boss, and I pay for it.
Matthew Sluka is was the quarterback QB1 of the UNLV Rebels. And the Rebs got out to a hot start, 3-0, undefeated out of the gate. And then the UNLV starting signal caller said, "Deuces, I'm out. I'm going. Later. Bye, Felicia."
See, that's how you do that.
And took off. More details begin to emerge about what led to Sluka's decision to not play anymore this season. According to reports, it was an NIL deal gone awry. For all the good that NIL has brought to college sports, stories like this seem to pop up every now and then. Effectively, what you've got going on is that Sluka and his agent have both said that he was told by an assistant coach that he would receive north of $100,000 if he transferred to UNLV away from Holy Cross. The school is saying, "Yeah, no, we did not, we would not," and they accuse Sluka of holding the school hostage. Well, there's a bunch of different aspects to this that have to be discussed. The first is what happened, and the answer is we don't know. And the answer is, frankly, we're never gonna know, because this is the definition of a he said argument. Sluka and his agents say they promised me $100,000 and I moved over. The school is saying, yeah, that absolutely did not happen. We could not, should not, would not do that. And he's the bad guy here. And the reality is, Sluka, unless he's got a text or a voicemail somewhere of the head coach saying it, is never going to be able to prove it was said. And the school is never going to be able to prove that it was not said. This is going to end up in litigation. Now, how do we feel about this? The answer to me is, I'm on the side of whoever's telling the truth. Thing is, we're never going to know who's telling the truth. If Sluka was promised $100K to transfer over from Holy Cross to UNLV, and he was promised $100,000 to do so, then I'm team Matthew Sluka. And if Sluka was not promised $100,000, but made it up thinking, well, I've got this team at 3-0, maybe, just maybe, if I go out and say that I was promised $100,000, maybe they'll give it to me. Maybe they'll go, you know what? We don't want to give this kid $100,000, but we are 3-0. And it's kind of hard to do that. So maybe we should go ahead and pay the guy. If that's what Matthew Sluka is doing, then I'm not team Matthew Sluka. I'm team UNLV. I'm team whoever's telling the truth here. Problem is, I don't think we're ever going to know who's telling the truth. Now, if this does go to litigation, and this was to go in front of a jury, it would not. But if it did, if this was trial by jury, one of the things that happens is you bring in character witnesses, people who come in and they testify, brother. They testify. It's Devon Dudley, big fan.
Who you telling? Like, I didn't know who.
No, I was just in general statement. Not everybody's a wrestling fan.
You know.
So one of the things they do is bring in a character witness, like James Madison head coach Bob Chesney. Now, Bob Chesney can be a character witness for this young man, for this quarterback, Matthew Sluka, because he coached him at Holy Cross. Sluka left, so did Chesney. Chesney went to become the head coach at JMU. Sluka went to UNLV. He went yesterday, and what I'm going to tell you is, again, unfortunately, not the best audio I've ever played on the show, but it is important audio. He said about Matthew Sluka this.
Yeah, I don't know the details because it's there. You can't have conversations with them. I just know that, you know, anybody that's ever played football for me and sweated or bled on that field for me, I stand by 100%. I think Matt, I don't know the details again, but I can assure you it has nothing to do with money. Matt had opportunities to leave Holy Cross for hundreds of thousands of dollars and stayed. And then he had opportunities again in the spring after the spring season was over and some major college football coaches lost their, starters to the portal, that they called me and reached out to me. And Matt wasn't, and my text chain with them is he's not going to be bought. He found a place that he really likes and trusts and believes in him, and he believes in them. And he's not probably going to move off it. And he had offers for 550 and 600s and 350s, and he wasn't moving off of that because he gave his word. Whatever happened there, I can't necessarily speak to, but I can assure you that has nothing to do with, money. Maybe trust and word and things of that nature it has to do with, but he's not a guy that could be bought. He's not a normal person when it comes to that. He wanted to go to the best situation possible, and he wanted to play football as hard as he possibly can, and money never had anything to do with it. So I imagine in this situation, money had nothing to do with that either.
I'm a little offended. So normal people can be bought.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I would 100% agree with that. And you know why I'd agree with that? Daddy can be bought. Ain't no doubt about it. My old football coach, my old coach Tom Grant used to say, I cannot be bought. I can be rented. And I agree with that. I'll give you the perfect example. I've used this many times. I can't stand the Live Tour or the fact that it exists. I think the Live Tour should be disbanded. I think it should be lit on fire and done away with. And yet, if the Live Tour called me tomorrow and go, Rob, we'd like to give you $5 million a year to come be our play-by-play guy. Bye. I'll check in with you guys. Tell the next host, call me. I'll come on and be the golf guy. Okay? I'm gone. I got to go. I cannot go. Yeah. Most people can be bought. Whether this assessment by Bob Chesney or not is fair, I don't know. I don't know Matthew Sluka, or Sluka, pardon me. What I do know is that if what he is saying is true, that this cat was turning down offers of hundreds of thousands of dollars because he wanted to be where he was and he decided to go with UNLV, it does lead credence to the story that we are getting from Sluka. That is, I got promised something, and the fact that they are not living up to their end of the promise, I'm out, right? Because I will tell you, I have been fired one time and I have quit one time in my life. I got fired from and I quit two different banks. There's a theme here. Real jobs in suits and ties don't suit and tie Rob Brown. I got fired once because my manager said that I was breaking dress code violations because I was wearing no C sock. You know, the socks that go all the way under your ankles? I was wearing no C socks, and socks were in the dress code. And she said, you have to wear socks. And I said, I am wearing socks. And I took my shoe off and showed her. And she said, well, if I can't see them, you're not wearing them. And I said, that's not real. That's not how that works. There they are. I'm wearing them right now. And she said, you know what? You can leave. The one I quit was because a manager that hired me made me, during the hiring process, a couple of assurances about the job. And when I showed up, those assurances weren't there. And what he told me was, yeah, I tried my best, but it's not going to happen. I'm going to need you to power through it. And I went, I'm not going to work here. It's not because I don't want to. It's simply because you said this would happen and you went back on your word. That's it. I'm out. And that's what Bob Chesney seems to be saying. Now, there were a couple of other folks who had some hot takes on this situation. One of them was Reese Davis. Oh, come on, Rob Brown. Let me get that fixed. Hold, please. Da-na-ba-da-da-da, ba-na-na-na-na.
The one thing that I'd like to point out about Sluka is you were talking about loyalty to the program. Matthew Sluka came from Holy Cross, where he was a terrific player there. But he arrived in July. There wasn't a deep-seated tie. No. Probably the Occam's razor philosophy, the most likely thing is probably the true. And it is probably true that he was promised something, likely, and it was not delivered. That's likely true. It is obviously true he didn't have it in writing. Yeah. If you make a dumb mistake in life, if I do, Matthew Sluka does, or whoever, sometimes you have to wear that, man. And going in there and expecting something without writing, and then they don't give it to you, you can't just bail on the team. You got to wear the fastball in the ribs sometime and go, that was my bad.
Which once again leads to like the proper representation of part of this entire revenue thing and like certified agents and everybody getting into writing. Because like, for instance, for me, when I was coming to high school, my dad, a truck driver, mom, a secretary. If they were negotiating NIL deals or playing deals, they would have got, I assume, by a lot of people. Yeah. So Sluka learning this lesson for a lot of other people, obviously good, but getting the players some protection so they don't do $100,000. That sounds good. Yeah. And then just move along and never get it is a big deal as well.
Yeah. I'm good with both of those takes. Scratch that. I'm good with Pat's take entirely. I'm not entirely good with Reese's. I'm good with the first half. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, youngsters out there, listen to your Uncle Rob. I'm about to learn you something. If somebody makes you a promise, get it in writing. Okay? This is one of the things that I've done for years. If I go down and somebody downstairs says, Rob, we're going to do this, I ask them to email that to me. Or I send them an email with that in writing saying, can you confirm this? Okay? Get it in writing. Because if it ain't in writing, it didn't happen. All right? And this is a tough lesson that, I don't know about you, great one. I've had it happen to me. Where I get promised something, it doesn't happen, but I never got him to write it down. And there was nothing I could do about it. I had to wear it. However, this whole, if it's not writing, you can't quit on the team. Why? Why not? In fact, it looks like he can because he did. He literally did it. That's what spurred this conversation. Here's the thing. If I agree to do a thing and you promise me X and we handshake on it, even if I don't get in writing, I will say, if you come back to me and go, I'm not doing that thing I promise you I'm doing, well, guess what, Jack? I'm not doing that thing I promised to do for you either. You can't tell this kid because he's a 20-year-old quarterback that he has to. No. Even if they promise you the $100,000, you didn't get it in writing. Therefore, you have to screw that. Why?
I'm just curious as to when he was supposed to get the money and why he waited till this particular week to go, that's it, I'm done.
No idea.
I mean, I know those are little details, but I think they're important because if he was supposed to get it before he started playing, he's like, you know what? I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. They'll get it to me eventually. And then after winning as many games as he did, he goes, hey, where's the money? And they don't give it to him. I don't know what to think about this. I understand his point of view and I kind of agree with it, but what's this going to do for football overall? I mean, what worst case scenario, what's it going to do?
I would like to go with this. There aren't some set of social rules that apply to college football players that don't apply to everybody else. If you agree to do a thing and a person shakes your hand and says, I promise I'm going to do this thing as part of you doing that thing, even if you don't get it in writing, and then you show up and they go, I'm not doing that thing, screw them. Bail. If they made you a promise, unless there is a justifiable reason that you are good with that they can't do the thing, if they just aren't going to do it, screw that amount. It doesn't matter if he waited till week 3 or week 9. If they promised to get, working on the assumption he's telling the truth, working on that assumption, and maybe he's not, but if he is telling the truth and they made him a promise of $100K, if he gets them to 3-0 and they're starting to show up on ESPN and they're starting to show up on SportsCenter and they're starting to get publicity they have not gotten as the UNLV Running Rebels in a very long time as a football program, screw them. I'm out. Yeah, loyalty is a two-way street. Kind of sucks for you when loyalty is a two-way street, doesn't it? When it's not all the power on one side. This is what this is what we have been talking about. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
New life.
All right, guys, one more live and we're back. Stay right there for me, please, and thank you. friends? It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing us around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around. Well, I'm ready to go home. That's not true. I'm ready to finish the show. Hour 13 minutes of greatness left in the chamber.
Home is hot.
Home is hot. It was nice yesterday. I'm going to keep it a buck. It was very nice yesterday.
In my house was not. Since all my screens are gone, I can't really open the window and allow all the weird bugs in.
You not have screens on your windows?
It did.
Sorry. Rob Brown Show continues. It is the fan upstate Rob Brown, the great one Lonzo with you. We are talking about this Matthew Sluka situation. A couple more minutes here, and then we'll move on from it. But look, here's how this breaks down as far as I'm concerned. If UNLV promised the kid $100,000, and then they said, yeah, we're not going to give you $100,000, cool, bounce, walk, bye, see you. You promised the thing, pay up the thing, all right? I think in the past couple of years, there have been a couple of changes that have been made in college football, certainly, and I would also argue societally, there have been some changes that have taken place. One of those changes that has taken place is that I think there has been this push to empower the employee, and for the sake of this conversation, this portion of the discussion, I will grant the concept of employment to college football players, but not in that they are employees, but that I think the metaphor exists. I think the analogy exists. There has been societally a push to move some of the power in the marketplace back to the labor, back to the workers, back to the employees. And I think that you see that happening in sports as well. And I think you certainly are seeing that in regards to college football. So if this kid got promised, as he claims and his agent claims that, and by the way, very much team get an agent college player. If you're going to get an NIL deal, I don't care if it's $500 a week from Bob's Used Cars to wear a t-shirt, get an agent. All right. Because as McAfee said in his take there a second ago, he said, what, my dad was a truck driver and my mom cleaned clothes for a living. They would have gotten taken had they been the ones trying to organize an NIL deal. Unless your parent is an agent or is a high caliber business person of some type, kids get an agent if you're going to get an NIL deal. I don't care how small it is, so that this doesn't happen. Because one of the things an agent's going to do is he's going to get everything written down in writing. And I think that is the lesson learned here from Sluka. And for the record, I think it's the lesson for the school as well, right? Because if you're going to go out there and you're in the NIL marketplace and you've got an NIL contract with the left guard and the linebacker and the starting safety and the backup wide receiver and yada, yada, yada. And then the quarterback comes out 3 weeks in and goes, yo, wait, hang on. We had a deal. And you go, whoa, not in writing. And we got every other contract in writing. Then you're going to CYA. You're going to cover your own ass at that point. And I think schools are about to learn that. The reality is contracts are kind of the way that it has to go now. It's kind of the way it has to go now. So with all of those being said, here's what I'll say. I am on the side of whichever entity is being truthful here. I also recognize that we're probably never going to know who's telling the truth here. Unless Sluka is able to come out with a text message or an email or a voicemail. Who the hell still uses voicemail? That has the coach saying, hey, Matthew, it's Coach Johnson. And just wanted to tell you that I got that $100,000 deal for you if you come to UNLV. All right, well then bang, the school's screwed, right? Like everybody's team Sluka at that point. But if you can't produce that, I just don't think we're ever going to actually know what happened. And if we're never actually going to know what happened, then, you know, it kind of is what it is. So for the sake of the conversation, listen, if the school didn't sign a contract with Sluka and Sluka is indeed holding them hostage, I got a big problem with that. You know how you fix that? Contracts. That's how you fix it. You go with contracts. Now, there's also the reality that you can't force the guy to come to work. You can't force the guy to come to practice. You can't force the guy to come to whatever. You know what you can do is when you start writing up these contracts, you can start putting in things that make it harder for him not to, right? If you step away from the team after we sign this contract, you are prohibited from engaging in conversation with other schools or prohibited from whatever. Like, and part of this, it's all going to always stem back to the NCAA. Part of this is situations like this could have been knocked out had the NCAA put those guidelines, those rules, those protocols into place when the NIL conversation was on the table at the very beginning. But as they are indeed, like it or not, a feckless organization, the reality here is that was never a legitimate thing. That was never going to happen. It should have. That's how all of this would have gotten there. But the reality is, regardless of how you feel about the conversation around Matthew Sluka and UNLV or any of the other situations like it, the unfortunate reality about this whole thing is genie's out of the bottle, cat's out of the bag, whatever phrase you want to use. There's one way at this point to get out of this mess, and only one. The one way to get out of this mess is for the schools in the NCAA to allow the players to become employees of the schools, to unionize, and to collectively bargain with representatives of the schools as an entity, in this case, the NCAA. That's it. That's the only way you're stopping situations from like this moving forward, or at least it's the only way I can come up with. The players become officially employees. Those employees unionize. That union collectively bargains with the NCAA or whatever the representative is of the NCAA schools at that point, and they come up with, as the NFL Players Association does, as every professional players association does, you reach a collective bargaining agreement that has all the rules of the new NIL world written down and in place. Now, segue to Lonzo's Sports Flash. I got nothing. I should be better at this. No NIL deal for me.
It's an amazing segue. Quit taking my time. The Atlanta Braves needed just one win out of 2 games against the Mets yesterday to punch a ticket to the MLB postseason. The Braves fell 8-7 in Game 1 as Atlanta took a 1-run lead into the 9th, but allowed a 2-run home run to Francisco Lindor to give the Mets the win. In Game 2, Grant Holmes got the start on short notice and went 4 innings with 7 strikeouts, not Steven strikeouts, because I don't know what that is. While the Braves collected 6 hits in a 3-0 lead, Atlanta begins their playoff run tonight at 8:30 against the Padres in San Diego. I apologize for being tired, but you guys know why. All-time baseball great Pete Rose passed away yesterday at 83 years of age. Also, NBA Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo passed away yesterday. Tune in this Saturday at 12:30 as the Furman Paladins take on the Citadel Bulldogs. It's Furman versus Citadel right here on the Fan Upstate. Ooh.
I forgot to take the TikTok sound off the end. That's the maintenance portion.
By the way, Chris couldn't turn it down because he's in Spartanburg.
He's here. I just
Is he
texted
back?
him, and I
Okay.
completely forgot to talk to him in the moment.
But I'd already texted him, and he said he would do it when he got back.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Hang on, I'm coming. My headset broke again. I've been back 2 days. Everything's falling apart.
Good morning.
I don't even know what's wrong. What in the
Hey, Big Daddy, how you doing?
Lonzo is a superstar.
There it is.
Good morning.
Okay, I think we're good. We're good.
Shut the hell up.
Welcome back. The final hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. It's the Fan Upstate. Hello, friends. Wonderful to be with you here on the show. Let's jump right in, shall we? A couple of things I would like to tell you about. First and foremost, at least to me, our new Odyssey Voice Notes app is available. No, feature is what I'm going to go with. Our new Odyssey Voice Notes feature.
Yeah, because it's not a separate app. It's a feature on the app.
Correct. Within the Odyssey app, if you get it, put it on your cell phone, your tablets, your digital devices.
He means when you get it.
When you get it. You should get it, by the way. Grab the Odyssey app, AUDACY, put it on your electronic devices. When you do, search the Fan Upstate, click the old heart button, the follow button, the like button, whatever the button is, click that button. When you do, the Fan Upstate will take you to the Fan Upstate page. Once you get there, there's going to be 2 buttons. One of those buttons is a big orange button, and it says, listen live. Click that button anytime, day or night, rain or shine, and you can listen to the Fan Upstate live in real time. Doesn't matter what you want to listen to. The Rob Brown Show from 6 to 10 a.m. every weekday. Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson every afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. BetMGM tonight with Brad Evans and Ryan Horvath from 7 to 11 p.m. Whatever, whenever, it's live. The other button is a little microphone button. That little microphone button, if you click that little microphone button, you can record a 60-second voice note. That 60-second voice note will come directly to yours truly on the laptop that I do the show on every single day. And when you click that button and you leave that 60-second voice note, it comes right to me. And when it comes right to me, we can interact. I can play it on the air. I can listen and respond, whatever the case is. So if you've wanted to talk to me and Lonzo, but you don't actually want to talk to me and Lonzo, you want to talk at me and Lonzo, This is your chance. If you've ever listened to the show and you said, these two idiots, I wish I could give them a piece of my mind, but you don't want to actually call and give a piece of your mind, here's your in. Go to the Odyssey app, go to the Fan Upstate page, click that little microphone button, drop a 60-second note. You can do it 24/7, 365. You want to send it while we're on the air? Do it. You want to send it at lunchtime when you're on your break? Do it. You want to send it at 2:45 in the morning after your Unc Shannon sharped out of your mind? Do it. That's why it's there. Go ahead, use it to whatever way you want to use it to, in whatever fashion you want to use it to. Hey, speaking of Unc Shannon Sharp and his performance on Instagram Live a couple of weeks ago, you guys remember that, right?
See, that would imply that it's fake. I mean, performance. I mean,
Well, it's ever so funny that you bring that up. Because yesterday on the Unc Shannon Sharp podcast, which he hosts with Ocho Cinco, they had a special guest. That special guest, great one, was the head coach of the University of Colorado Buffaloes / Colorado University Buffaloes, one primetime Deion Sanders.
Coach Prime.
Deion Sanders, who is, and this is true, not your or my coach.
Coach Prime.
Deion Sanders was talking with Unc Shannon about his Instagram Live performance. And Deion says he feels pretty comfortable that it was not fake.
But listen, if you're going to stage it, at least you're going to have a highlight show. That wasn't a highlight. Like if
that wasn't a highlight show at all.
That was a low light. Like if you're going to stage it, it's going to be some of my best work. Oh, what's my name? Too sweet. Who the baddest? Show enough. If I'm going to stage it, it's going to be sound effects. I'm going to have roars in there.
Pyrotechnics, I'm going to have everything jumping off.
Everything. Smoke. I'm coming out to smoke like I did in Atlanta. If I'm going to stage it, it's going to be, ooh, wait. I'm going to come out. I'm coming out there like sugar, dancing. If I'm on stage, I was mad about that. I was my boy staged that, and that carburetor blew up.
It's fair. It's a fair train of thought,
So you're not going to talk about why it was speculated that it was staged.
So there's a lot of theories. One of them I heard was that it was a way for Shannon to get himself fired so he could go somewhere else for more money. That was the theory that was getting thrown around. I will also acknowledge this happened like right before I left, and so I was not clued in. Is there a new theory as to why he would have staged that?
Preferences.
Oh.
Just to prove what his preference is.
Oh, people were calling him gay, and he's like, I'm not gay?
Yes.
And here's me getting on the boom chicka bow wow with the lady friend?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, again, don't care if you are.
I'm just saying what I read.
I just love that Deion hit him with, what's my name? I'm coming out the smoke like I did in Atlanta.
I love the Show Nuff reference, but you didn't get the Show Nuff reference.
So. That's just spectacular work from Deion. Well done.
It's from The Last Dragon. But anyway.
Show Nuff is also just a thing people say. Show Nuff?
Oh, no. It was such a big deal from that movie that it became a part of pop culture.
I don't know what movie this is.
I just said The Last Dragon.
No, I know. I don't remember that movie. And this might be a me thing. The Last Dragon.
Who's the baddest mofo low down around town? Show Nuff.
Oh, it's a
kung fu movie.
A blaxploitation kung fu movie.
It's
from 1985.
Yes.
An American martial arts comedy film written by Louis Vanosta, produced by Rupert Hitzig for Barry Gordy, and directed by Michael Schultz. The film stars Tamik Vanity, Julius Carey, Chris Murney, Keisha Knight Pulliam, and Faith Prince. Yeah, I don't think I have to go watch it. Show enough. I got to watch that movie.
Listen, I believe that you would love this movie.
I'm sure I would.
I'm pretty sure that I may have it in the office.
I may have to go on the DVD player at the house.
yeah. That thing that doesn't work, but right now.
Oh man, incredible. All right, now I gotta go. Now I gotta watch that movie. Texas said, Rob, if the students become contract employees, wouldn't that push towards or take us into super conferences because SEC schools ain't paying what ACC schools, Big 12 or Big 10 schools are paying? And Spartanburg J, You are correct, but hold your horses because
All right, I'm offended by that. So you're saying the Big Ten conference is lesser than the SEC when it would there are just as many
who said that or
big
anything close to
businesses
it?
in that area as there are down here.
I mean, yes, I definitely am saying that. But like, you don't have to get up in your feels about it.
All right. Well, you're wrong. So I mean, I believe that
It's literally true right now. The
No.
SEC pays their schools more right now.
No, we were.
It's
talking,
happening today.
The SEC pays their schools.
Yes.
But we're talking about paying players. We're not talking about schools.
Yes,
We're talking about players. So the schools are paying
Bro,
players.
You have Ohio State and Michigan. The schools have NIL
And
contracts with players. Yes.
and
You'd have Phil Knight. Phil Knight will help a little bit.
You know, there's yeah.
But forget all that. I want to go back to what Spartanburg Jay said.
Fast
just
food
a second
capital
ago.
of the world is Columbus. I mean, and that's money.
Spartanburg Jay, I have bad news for you. That's already happening. That's already a thing. Heather Dinich, of whom I am a big fan.
Poof.
What up, Heather? How you doing, girl? Good to have you. Good to have you back, Heather. Missed you. Heather Dinich put a report on ESPN. I'm going to read directly from a Yahoo Sports article that says the following. In a report by ESPN's Heather Dinich, it seems like the two conferences, the SEC and the Big Ten, will make a run at each of them getting 4 automatic bids to the college football playoff when they restructure its new contract in 2026. She goes on to say that there will be in-person discussions between the two conferences in Nashville, Tennessee next week about the potential change. It's hard to imagine that CFP committee would agree to this, as most likely the majority of non-automatic bids will go out to members of those conferences anyways. When you look at the USLBM coaches poll following week 5, there are 11 schools between the two of them that are ranked inside the top 12. The Miami Hurricanes are the only team not in either of those two conferences currently in the CFP range. Watering down the potential for other teams to make the playoff just doesn't make sense. The committee will pick the best teams available this year and next and shouldn't be forced to adhere to these two conferences' demands. As for the Irish, they're already at a disadvantage by not being able to get a first-round bye, and if this were to pass, it would make it harder for them to be involved at all, as just 4 at-large bids would be available. My dudes, as I have been trying, because I am a good, gracious host, as I have been trying to prepare you for years, the inevitable conclusion of unchecked capitalism is monopoly. That's just at its core. The unchecked result of unchecked capitalism is monopoly. That's just how it is. And so when you get into a spot, if the two top entities of any field decide that they are going to work hand in hand, arm in arm with each other, everybody else is 100% and entirely duh. Not maybe. That's definitively. And so you're in a spot where the SEC and the Big Ten have decided that they are going to come together and they are going to say, hey, yo, of those 12 spots, we get 8 of them. Why? Because we said so. Now, I'm not a parent. Okay? Don't intend to be. I'm not a parent. However, I do know with dealing with Sheeran, I do know that the phrase, because I said so, is immensely powerful. Lonzo, can you confirm or deny that the phrase, because I said so, is quite useful when you're a parent?
Very much so. Also, bosses use that. I don't know if you knew that.
I do. Because I said so. Now, I will tell you that as somebody who probably to my, detriment, was also taught trust but verify. Just because a person is in authority does not mean that they should be the authority. Ask questions. But sometimes you're going to ask questions and you're going to be told because I said so. And my natural default feeling on that is always if somebody says because I said so, the reasoning is I don't have a good reason. That's just what I want.
That's not always the case, but probably 90%. Sometimes it's a lesson that needs to be learned that you cannot put into words.
Sure.
That you'll understand when you become a parent
Sure.
or something else.
Sometimes you may not have the time to explain the rationale. I need this thing done now. Why? Because I said so. You may not have time to say, well, because if you do this, then Joe over there can do X, and then Billy can do this. And once all those things are done, we all benefit from it. But we don't have time. By the time I'm done explaining, the moment will have passed. We got to do this now. Whatever. 90% of the time, if somebody says because I said so, they don't have a good reason. It's just what they want. And so with the SEC and the Big Ten, when they go, we want 8 of the 12 slots in the 12-team playoff. Why? Because I said so. Because it's just what they want. Why? It's best for them. It's best for them. The more teams you have in more playoff spots, the more money you get. And the problem is, because they already have all the power, I don't know if anything can be done to stop it. The reality is these two conferences are going to work hand in hand, arm in arm, together forever, friends forever. Zack Attack. There's a reference I haven't made in a while.
What is this? Some sort of
Saved by the Bell.
Nickelodeon show? Oh,
Saved by the Bell.
All right.
Zack Attack. They are going to work hand in hand, arm in arm, friends forever. Why? Because it allows them to bully everybody else out. And then they can basically, once it's all done, pick up everybody else that they want. And then everybody else can, off is basically how it works. So to respond to you, Spartan Bird J, and I appreciate the text, 71307, start your text with FAN, FAN. In my ever so humble yet frequently correct opinion, the response to this is, the players being allowed to become employees and to unionize is not the reason that you are going to end up with super conferences. The reason you are going to end up with super conferences is because you already have them. And now they are realizing that, hey, if we're buddy with each other, we can have whatever we want. Because here's the quick question. Who's going to stop them? The NCAA has already rolled over every single time that there has been what could even maybe become a headbutting contest between themselves and the two big conferences. They've already laid down many times to those two conferences. So if they've laid down many times these two, do you think all of a sudden they're going to go, yeah, we're not going to give you 8 of the 12 playoff spots? No, they're going to go, we're going to give you you know what this is? You ever had a buddy in your circle, in your friend group? You ever had a buddy that was very clearly batting out of his league, outkicked his coverage, was dating somebody that they had no business dating? Yeah. You ever seen that? You ever seen your just average Joe buddy, and he goes, "This is my girlfriend, and she's a smoke show, a 9.5 out of 10, yada yada yada." For the record, been there, done that. And what happens is these people end up qualifying for another term that the Utes use, simp. They become a simp. They basically get to the point that we would have called you a pushover back in our day, amongst other names that I can't say on the radio. Nowadays, we call them simps. These are people who bend over backwards, who lay down, to act in their own detriment in order to stay in the positive views of whatever the entity in question is. They're dating the bikini model, and all of a sudden, they are doing things they would have never done before, saying things they would have never said before, buying things they would have never bought before, and they are doing all of these things just so that the 9.5 out of 10 comes home to them, not somebody who they perceive as better than them. The NCAA has to now simp for these two mega conferences. And they have to simp for the mega conferences because the moment that they don't, and these two mega conferences go bloop and throw the old double bird thumbs in at the NCAA, they don't exist anymore. Okay? If tomorrow the ACC folds, the NCAA is still there. If the Big 12 folds, the NCAA is still there. If the Pac-2 folds or the Mountain West folds or any of these other conferences fold, the NCAA is still there. If the Big 10 and the SEC walk away, they're not, and they know it. So, Joe, to answer your question, this is going to be another opportunity for people who, for whatever reason, love to restrict the freedoms and the rights of college football players, who want to make them the bad guy in a situation where the suits at top once again prove they care about the dollar bill, y'all, and not a damn thing else. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Oh!
What was I going to talk about here?
What a great question.
Oh, the Braves.
What's up, Shane?
The Rob Brown Show continues. It's the Fan Upstate. No, I'm not getting my hopes up about the Atlanta Braves. I'm cool. Like, I'm happy. I'm happy they made it to the playoffs. Like, cool. But also, you're getting swept. All right? You just are. You have to play today after you played the last 2 days. Actually, last 3 days, because you played Saturday, you played Sunday, you played a doubleheader yesterday, and unfortunately, because the Bravos could not finish off a game one in which they took a one-run lead into the top of the ninth, but allowed the Mets to score a pair in the top of the ninth and could not answer in the bottom of the ninth.
I know I'm not a baseball guy, but you're acting like it's a big deal that they're playing day after day after day. Isn't that what baseball does?
Pitchers into the postseason. This is different than like a 8-game stretch in July. This is you have taxed arms going up against a father's team that has been very good. In fact, one of the better teams coming into the last couple of weeks and into the postseason. And now you're doing it with effectively your entire bullpen that has thrown multiple innings yesterday, whereas the fathers have a full bullpen that's happy, healthy, rested. They got smiley faces over their heads if you're playing The Sims. They're all good. So you're up against one of the hotter teams. And again, playoff baseball is all about momentum, right? I go back to last year. Last year, the Arizona Diamondbacks came into these playoffs with more momentum than anybody else in that spot. And then they went to the World Series because of it. The Padres have the momentum right now. They were one of the better teams down the stretch. They've got great pitching. They're hitting the ball well. Things are favorable right now for this baseball team. And on top of all of that, the Bravos found out yesterday that Chris Sale, the best pitcher in the National League, a Triple Crown winner this year in the National League, had the most wins, the most strikeouts, and the lowest ERA of any pitcher in the National League. He can't pitch in the wild card round. He is done. He had back spasms yesterday. He was expected to start game 2. They yanked him out of that game. Now, the conspiracy theory was after the Mets took game 1, the Bravos and Mets had a little gentleman's agreement. Because remember, if these two teams split the doubleheader, then they both go to the playoffs. And so the other option would have been that one team sweeps the doubleheader, the other team is eliminated from the playoffs, and the Arizona Diamondbacks would have taken the last spot. So the conspiracy theory, C-O-N-spiracy, that was going around yesterday. The conspiracy theory was that the Braves and the Mets had a handshake gentleman's agreement of we're both going to play to win game 1. Whoever wins game 1 plays backups in game 2, lays it down in game number 2 so that the other team can also get in, which I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I absolutely would agree to that. Are you kidding me? You're going to guarantee me I'm in the playoffs. Whether I'm in spot number 2 or spot number 3, I don't care. I got to beat somebody good on the road anyway. Yeah, I will shake your hand. We're going to play game 1. And if I win it,
happen though.
No, I don't.
Okay.
But also, the thought is it doesn't really matter because here's the thing. If you win game 1, you're in the playoffs. Aren't you resting your guys game 2 anyway? You're not sending your best out there. You're not asking them to play a second baseball game in a 6-hour stretch to then turn around, literally get on a plane that night and literally fly to the other side of the country for games the next day. If I can not play my starters, and have them as rested as possible, knowing that no matter who you are, the team you play the next day will be on a full day's rest. Yeah, I'm abso-freaking-lutely putting my starters. The New York Mets, game one, they get the easier trip going to Milwaukee. Atlanta's got to go all the way out to the left coast, which means after that game was over, they had to pack it up, get on a plane, fly to the other side of the country, get off the plane, go to the hotel, yada, 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 all to be ready for a baseball game tonight. So to answer your question, the answer is I 100% don't think that happened, but I also think it's kind of unspoken, right? Like if I'm already in the playoffs and I got to get on a plane and fly to either Milwaukee or San Diego the next day, I'm not playing my guys in game two if I win game one. It's unspoken.
So you're saying the opposite. If the opposite would have happened, if Atlanta would have won the first game, they would have set their starters in the second game.
Yes. I think if they would have won game one, you would have seen a pitch. Because remember, Chris Sale was scheduled for game number 2, and they pulled him because of back spasms. And there actually is some belief that, because Chris Sale didn't get yanked until like an hour before first pitch of game 2, there is some belief that effectively the Braves saw the Mets line up. The Braves saw that the Mets were, and would have expected, would have assumed, frankly, that in game 2, the Mets were going to roll most of their backups. Now, in fairness, they did play some of their starters. Acuna played, Nimmo played, Alonso played, Marte played, but they didn't have a lot of the guys out there that started game 1. So I think what probably happened, and I do think Chris Sale is banged up, all right? If Chris Sale was not in some way banged up, he's pitching tonight when the Braves are on the road at the Padres. They're trotting out the best they got on the docket tonight, and they can't do that now. So because of that, I think that they probably said, let's sit Chris Sale. Let's not even risk him, right? Let's throw out a guy on short term, but a guy that's good enough. And let's go win a 1-0 baseball game because the Mets don't have any reason to try. I do believe that's what happened. Now, with that being said, the Braves go out. It is game 1 tonight. It is on the road. It is at the San Diego Padres. They are up tonight against Michael King. Michael King has been phenomenal this year. 13-9, a 2.95 ERA, 201 strikeouts, and a top 30 whip overall across Major League Baseball. He's been exceptional for the Fathers this year. You know who the Braves are trotting out to start tonight? No, you don't. Nobody does. I don't either. It's undecided because they have got to effectively look at everything that happened the last 4 days with the games against the Royals and then a 2-gamer against the Mets in one day yesterday. And they gotta figure it out. They got to get out to California and they got to go through the whole damn thing and figure out who do we go with today? Who gives us not the best shot? Who just gives us a shot at all? Who just gives us any shot at all? And there are obviously dudes that give you a shot. You know, you've got guys like Max Fried. Has Max Fried gotten enough rest since his last start? I don't know is the answer. Charlie Morton went a day and a half ago. He can't go. Spencer Schwellenbach went yesterday. He can't go. You're going to roll, I think, Reynaldo Lopez out there on the bump tonight. But then you're back to the top of the rotation. You're throwing Fried on 3 days rest. And then if you win one of those 2 games, I hope you win both. But if you win one of those 2 games, then likely you got to go with Charlie Morton in game 3 also on short rest. Remember, wild card round is a best of 3. You got to win one of the 2 to give yourself a chance in a game 3. But I'm the Braves had, 6 hits in the win yesterday? Like, just, even if Lopez is great, even if he only surrenders 1 or 2 runs to the Padres, which would be a freaking achievement against this team, even if he only surrenders 1 or 2, at the end of the day, the Braves aren't hitting the baseball. Like, I would have rather played the Brewers, just so we're clear. I would have rather we would have won game 1 and taken on the Brewers in Milwaukee. It's a less intimidating place to play, with all due respect to the Brew Crew. And I just don't think their team is as good. Certainly they don't have the front end starting that the Padres have. I would have rather played Milwaukee, but I'm not saying that this series isn't winnable for Atlanta. I'm saying they're going to have to go back to that heater that they were on 2 months ago. The month after remember the All-Star break, coming off the All-Star break, when the Phillies stank and the Braves could have taken that division lead, but they also stank. But then remember how the Phillies got good, but so did the Braves, and they were lockstep with each other for a minute. Remember how much of a heater that team was on at that point? They're going to have to do that on the road against San Diego just to have a chance. And oh, by the way, if they do and they win that thing, guess who they got up next? The damn Dodgers on the road. Like, I'm just not excited about the playoffs. This isn't the Braves aren't carrying momentum into the playoffs, and the pitching's good, but it's taxed. I got no optimism about the Braves in the playoffs this year. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. No, they've already ruled him out, Joey B. He's not playing tonight. He's out. So you'll go Lopez tonight, Fried game 2, and then probably Uncle Charlie in game 3. I kind of hate how I get why you did it, but I kind of hate now in retrospect having thrown Schwellenbach in game 1 yesterday, because that's who I would have preferred in a game 3 if it was necessary. Kobe. I don't know how you sit in that chair. I just always feel like I'm going to fall back out of it. I hate that chair.
No, that chair would collapse if I did what I just did. This thing is like 15 years old. Obviously, it has durability. Those lasted a week. That's why there's only like 2 left in the building. Ow, that hurt. Did not help. The chair's making noise because I'm heavy.
Sure wish I had power to watch full slate of playoff baseball games today. That'd be cool.
I know a place where you could do it.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go to 3 Friends. I'm not going to lie.
Or
Problem is I can't hang out there for 12 hours.
Or you could just sit in the office. You could hang out there for 12 hours. It's actually encouraged. So, I mean. Here's what I would do. I mean, if you're going to watch the games anyway, I would come in here and turn that TV on it and take the remote so they
just sit here during wire to wire. Just sit right here looking that way.
Yeah, always in their shot. You'd be in Diesel's shot, just watching baseball. And then just get mad or cheer whenever it's necessary. Didn't throw out, I'm sorry, my bad.
My bad. That's on me.
I didn't see you guys there. Oh, Jersey Joe, I appreciate it, brother.
I still got stuff to do around the house. I got a handheld chain, a mini. Oh, I guess all chainsaws are handheld.
I ain't doing nothing around the house because then I get sweaty and I have to take another stick of cold shower, and I'm not doing it.
That's fair. I do have
one a day is enough for me. You can at least take a hot shower. I can't.
Oh, which is nice.
I still haven't cleaned the fridge out. I know I need to. But
Hey, we got SmackDown next week.
I don't know about but yeah. I mean, I'd love to go, but I don't. Did you put in for tickets?
They haven't put it out yet.
Because I'm not sure that we
But-
actually would have any. So,
Well, then I'm buying them.
oh, okay. Well, good for you.
I'm just gonna stand over here
Yeah.
like this.
I don't know. That'll be a long time to be standing.
That's how you watch TV in wrestling. You stand slightly off to the side. Wrapping up the Rob Brown Show here on the Fan Upstate. Rob and the great one, Lonzo, with you. 844-326-3663 is the number if you want to sneak in here at the end of the show. You are welcome to do it. We'd love to have you. You can text us 71307 on the text line, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the air. You can also shoot me a tweet at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word. Shoot all of us one at The Fan Upstate. And don't forget, our voice notes function is officially active. Now, you guys have sent me a few. I appreciate them. Please know, as much as I love you and trust you, I will be screening every one of these with great care and concern before any of them get played on the air. All right. So keep them coming. The Odyssey app, go to the Fan Upstate, click on the little microphone button. You can drop a 60-second voice memo that will come straight to me that we can play on the air, I can respond to, or whatever. Go to the Odyssey app, go to the Fan Upstate, click on the microphone button, drop that 60-second voice app. And I want that to be a part of the show. It's effectively a way for you guys to leave me a voicemail, and I'm all in for it. All right. So make sure you do that as well. A couple of things I wanted to get in before we wrap up the broadcast day today. Did you see the comments of Raheem Morris, the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons? Kyle Pitts has been a good football player, but I do to some degree think we'd all be lying a little bit if we didn't say the career of Kyle Pitts has been slightly disappointing. Yeah. I mean, I think we all expected a lot out of Kyle Pitts, and we just haven't gotten it. 0 catches in a win against the New Orleans Saints this weekend.
What college did he go to?
Kyle Pitts was a Florida Gator.
Oh, okay. So he's used to disappointment.
Got him. Kyle Pitts in this season so far has 105 yards on 8 snags, 1 touchdown, 15 targets so far. Kyle Pitts is not developed. Raheem Morris was asked about it, and he responded as such. You know, it's just about going out there and winning the game. When you're out there, you're playing. He had a couple of targets today. He had a couple things going up that way. We had a questionable call at the end of this stretch. Again, to Kyle, those things are always unfortunate. When a reporter brought up the fact that Kyle Pitts' statistics this year aren't very good, Raheem Morris said, quote, "Really, for me, stats are for losers." I've gotten that a lot. Here's the fun thing. You know who doesn't feel that way? People who run things and make money.
According to math, Kyle Pitts is not very good.
Correct. It's not that he's very good. It's just that he's not anywhere close to what we've expected and what we've seen out of him. We've seen the capability and the ability, but it feels like he's just been left behind at this point.
Is the team happy with his performance? Are the team talking about?
I mean,
how
they're never going to tell you no.
I mean,
right?
In the end, that's his employer. I mean, everyone can know. Oh, I expected, yeah, but you're not paying him. So if you were paying him, what would you do, Rob Brown? If you were his boss, what would you do?
I would, number one, be finding a lot more ways to get the man the football. Like I think he had 3 targets in this game, and basically the only time right now that it feels like they throw Kyle Pitts the football is when everybody else is double coveraged, and so's he. It just feels like he's basically their emergency valve and nothing else. And if you are using
old school way of using that position,
no, I mean yes, but also no. Like Antonio Gates was not an emergency last option. He's a dude that you went, oh, he's real good. We should give him the football. He's real good. We should give him the football.
Until that era with Antonio Gates and Shannon Sharp and Tony Gonzalez. Before that, the tight end was basically a blocker, and every once in a while he'd catch the ball and people would be surprised.
Yes, you know what year it is though? 2024. It's not that this offense would be fine if it was 1973. But it's not. It turns out, and I checked the calendar to make sure I'm right about this. It's 2024.
Are you sure
Tight ends are a big deal now.
Are you sure the offense is not a 1973
No,
offense?
I'm not. I'm not playing this again before we leave. RIP to one of my favorite basketball players of all time, Dikembe Mutombo. Dikembe Mutombo, not just a great player, great dude, great overall dude. A couple of years ago, Dikembe Mutombo was on HQ with Dan Le Batard and Bomani Jones. And they asked him about I'll just let Le Batard set it up for you.
Just a touch here, Zoe. We've had an investigation for a while here. Dikembe, he denied it very strongly, very ferociously. But there's this story of Dikembe back in the glory days of walking into a nightclub.
Who wants to sex Mutombo?
Who wants to sex Mutombo?
You've heard it. You've heard it, haven't you?
Is the story true? We need to know if the story is true.
You've heard it before.
That's a confirmation.
Oh no, that's highly questionable. That's not even the clip that not even the clip I wanted to play. I want the one with Mutombo actually telling the story. I can't believe that I blew that. Let me find that one. I put it somewhere in the coffers here. But it's basically they asked him if that story was true. I can't believe I lost this.
You are the
clip.
king of the setup today. I
really am. I'm killing it.
You
over
haven't
here.
nailed one yet.
I'm absolutely killing it.
But
over
I will
here.
say, on this day, you were very consistent.
I missed them all. This is true. I missed all the layups. All right, don't worry. I'm gonna find this because this story is that good.
Hit the bunny, Rob. Come on, you got this.
Dude, I am just missing layups over here, dude. One after the next, just missing layups. Where in the hell? Mutombo. This is pathetic. Nope, that's I do have the no, not today commercial that's ready at any given. Also need to fix the sound for that.
Well, because some are louder than others, and the last one needed to be.
Yeah, that
loud.
was.
I apologize for the instant headache. I gave myself one too.
And now I can't find the dadgum clip. Long story short, there was a story that went around for a very long time that Dikembe Mutombo would walk into nightclubs full of lookers and would simply yell to the crowd, "Who wants to sex Mutombo?"
I would have a question and ask him what his standard was. Do they have to be 8 or above? Or was it just anybody? Because that makes it sound like it's anybody.
If your standards are high and you've got the rocks to walk into a bar and yell, "Who wants to sex me?" but you use your last name and speak about it in third person, you've got the rocks to walk up to the people in the club that meet your preferred specifications in that moment. If you walk into the club and yell, "Who wants to sex me?" you're probably willing to let's see what the options are on the table, right? Let's see what's available.
I'm just
here.
wondering if it were a true story and some were to walk up that he goes, no, to the ones that he does not like.
No, not today.
I get the feeling, if this is true, Dikembe Mutombo vehemently denied that this
Okay,
story was
Joe's
correct.
got me here. He says, "So this is Miami nightclub where the Heat players go. They filtered the women
That's
out
also
at
true.
the door." Okay,
That's
all right.
also true. I can
So
go ahead.
Big Ox at the door is going, no.
Yeah.
not you.
Yeah.
Okay, you can go through.
You may not sex Mutombo. You may sex Mutombo. You brought the heat tonight, young lady. You may sex Mutombo. I wish that at any point in my life I would have had the rocks to be the dude that walks in the club and goes, "Who wants to sex Rob Brown?" And more importantly, that it ever would have worked. Yeah. I wish I had that in me. I'm going to get in trouble for this, and I want you to know I'm doing it for the show. This is content. All right, I'm a content creator. When the wife gets home tonight and she opens the door and walks in, I am going to yell at her from wherever I am in our Casa de Love. I am going to yell at my wife when she comes home on day number 11 of being married. "Who wants to sex Rob Brown?" And I fully assume she is going to look me square in the face and say,
No, not today.
So we'll see.
So you're expecting disappointment, but you're willing to go for it anyway.
No, I don't think you understand. The satisfaction of that moment is not going to be the satisfaction of that moment. The satisfaction of that moment is going to be saying that.
You got enough guts to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
And no, remember, I promise you right now, like that, when I hear the car pull in the driveway and I hear that door close and I hear the key go in the lock, I am going to stand at the end of it because the house is built long. So it's a long hallway. It's all the way from one end to the other. I'm going to stand on the other side of the hallway. I have not decided what I'm going to wear when I do this. I may go.
We're getting suggestions on the stream for that. So,
I may go full on. I may just go cowboy hat and underoos. I may go cowboy hat, but just hold it strategically. And when she opens the door, I am going to yell, "Who wants to sex Rob Brown?" And even if she says no, and she will say no, but even if she says no, don't worry, victory will be had in that moment. Victory will be had right then for me.
Hey, you hesitated. All right.
It worked out.
All right, time. You missed another one.
Somebody leave me a voice note on the Odyssey app screaming, "Who wants to sex?" and then say your name.
Yeah, not his name, your name.
No, your name.
All right, the first thing it's Xing is Luchasaurus.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I haven't watched wrestling in probably 2 weeks from last Friday. I have no idea what's happening in anything.
He is presently in the hospital with pneumonia.
Oh, that's not great.
Yeah,
that's real bad.
Yeah.
R.I.P. No, not R.I.P. That's very different.
No, don't do that, dude. What are you doing?
I got P. Rose and Dikembe Mutombo on the brain. Get well soon, Luchasaurus. I don't need you joining the rest of your brethren from 65 million years ago.
I'm curious if they have a hospital bed long enough for that dude, because he's a pretty.
He
He's
fit
a
in the
large
back
individual.
of a Prius. He's fine. I've seen him do it.
But he was awful scrunched up when he did that.
He was awful scrunched up when he did that.
And when you have pneumonia, you don't want to be scrunched up because you're already having trouble breathing. The next thing that's Xing is Cartoon Network.
Joe and Shane said I should try the Who Wants to Sex Rob Brown, but with the Red Hot Chili Pepper sock.
Yeah, I
look
saw
going.
that. I was hoping you wouldn't.
I'm not mad about that.
Cartoon Network is Xing.
I really got nothing.
32 years ago today, Cartoon Network came out.
I was 6 years old. I was right there in the prime, right there in the swing of things. And the number of shows that came through Cartoon Network when I was growing up, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls, Ed, Ed and Eddie, Cow and Chicken. What a cartoon. Like there were some great ones, man. There were some great ones.
He's not choked up. He was just, it sounded choked up.
I'm a little choked up.
That was pretty good. All right. The next thing
I'm choked up because I'm realizing how freaking old I'm getting and how quickly I'm getting there.
You're getting pretty old. All right. The next thing that's Xing is Joker Fala Adu.
What?
That's the name, Joker Fala Adu.
No, I just wanted you to say it
again.
again.
Yeah, I'm going to be consistent with it.
Enthusiasm.
Yeah, Fala Adu.
So the anticipation for this movie seems very split. I actually really do want to see it. I think Lady Gaga has proven herself to be a phenomenal actress. I actually really like the first.
Phoenix is weird though. I mean, here's the thing. Chances are I still don't have power. So whether I want to go see this movie or
Might
not,
as well.
I'm not go see this movie.
Nothing else to do.
I mean,
Does it come out this week?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go see it. I'll tell you, I really like the first one, but again, you have to approach it.
I like the last 15 minutes of the first.
I love the whole movie. This isn't the Joker, at least not the Joker we all grew up with. All right, it's an entirely different character spin universe whatever. And I really like it, but I will also acknowledge, I had this whole discussion when it came out. This movie is not a comic book movie. This is a movie with societal commentary. This is a movie with opinions on the real world that we all live in, and utilizes the Joker to make points about the way that we look at and treat and discuss and sometimes ignore legitimate mental illnesses amongst people in public, and how and why we need to do a better job addressing them. I want to see it from the standpoint of a person who likes high art, not because I expect it to be a great comic book movie.
All right, I just got to say, from a Batman standpoint,
It's not a Batman movie.
No, the show you need to watch, which is also not a Batman movie, is The Penguin. I've only seen episode 1. It is amazing. Episode 2 just came out, but no power. So can't watch episode 2 yet.
The plan 100% was to watch that during honeymoon recovery mode, and I had neither honeymoon nor honeymoon recovery mode.
If you are to watch anything non-sports wise in the next week, you've got to watch the first. You've got to.
I want to.
I know. It is.
I'm unable to.
It is amazing. It really is.
The fiber cord that brings internet into my house is laying in my front yard right now. And so far, I've not figured out how to plug it into my brain to be able to do that. All right, that's it for us. Thanks for being here. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again. One last question before I go. Who wants to sex Rob Brown?
No, not today.
Oh, I love that so much. Who wants to sex Rob Brown?
Weird does not describe Joaquin Phoenix, so he's his own guy for sure.
Here's the thing. You can go with you need weird, and I entirely agree with that. But you also tried Jared Leto, and he sucked.
And he's weird. But then,
he's way weirder than Joaquin Phoenix.
Heath Ledger's the standard. Jack Nicholson probably next. Yeah, I think still Heath Ledger's the standard.
I don't. I mean, I guess it really just.
Although I was quoting Jack Nicholson all weekend, going to need a moment, boys. After he killed Bob, Bob was with him through the entire movie. Bob Gunn.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? My favorite thing was a number of years ago.
I always ask it of all my
what
prey.
that
I
meant,
just
and
like
he
the sound
goes,
of it.
I don't know. I just made it up. It's like, that's awesome.
All right, Joe. I agree with you as far as that goes.
Mark Hamill is the standard.
Yeah,
Good
but
call.
that's animated.
Good
though.
call.
We were talking about live action. There's been plenty of other Jokers in animated. They'll never be as good as Mark Hamill. There's so many things in the Penguin, dude. It's just
I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, it is straight up a mix of Scarface and Godfather.
I've heard it's like because I'm
it's
super
killing
big
me. I
in-
haven't watched episode 2 yet.
I'm super big into like all crime shows, Sopranos, all that kind of stuff, and I've been told it's like
it's the
fantastic mix of every crime show
It's
you've
the
ever
building
watched.
of a boss.
Yeah.
That's what it is from the ground up.
Yep.
And you've already seen where it started in the Batman, and the Batman is not in this show at all. But they also said when this is over, it leads right into the next Batman. So
I'm here for it. Subscribe.
I like it much better than Agatha All Along, which I
also haven't gotten to watch yet. I was
I've
very
only
busy.
seen the first episode of that too.
Agatha all along.
I'm so tired of Camp Math.
I'm not going to math. I'm going to go do stuff so I can go home. Thanks, everybody, for being here. You're all spectacular people. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Come back tomorrow. We're going to do it all over again, but better. Tell your friends about us. Help us grow the show. Bye.